the phones as you try and get help. I appreciate you calling.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Talar in Ile Perrot. We go to Dollar des Ormeaux where we find Rob now. Hi, Rob.
Hi, good morning. How are you?
Good. What happened to you?
Oh, boy. So on Friday, I live at the bottom of a sloping street. Mm-hmm. So my backyard became inundated and became basically a lake.
Oh, boy.
And in 2017, I live in a multi-generational. I built a condo downstairs in my family's home as my father is bedridden.
Mm-hmm.
So when I went downstairs to check the damage, I smelled some sulfur. So I got on 911 immediately. We had 3 phones going trying to get a hold of 911. Probably unfair to others who were trying to get through, but we kept getting busy signals and whatnot. Finally, when we got through, though, and it took probably a little over an hour, I will say I think sometimes we need to have kudos to those who helped out.
Mm-hmm.
The fire department showed up immediately, looked at the damage, sent 5 guys into the basement, into my condo to help fix things up. And they actually removed my toilet to use as a drain and managed to drain out all the water.
Wow.
And they offered a pump truck to empty out the yard, but the rain had stopped and they felt that it would eventually get absorbed. But we got it really, really bad, unfortunately. And like many, we're waiting for, we're doing a lot of the work ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
We spent the weekend mopping. We have hardwood floors, so we've cleaned, mopped, thrown out what we can. And we're just waiting for our insurance adjuster. And they had just recommended we keep everything as much as possible in place so they can take a look. But like many, I feel for them, it's a real nightmare. But we're not in a flood zone necessarily, so we were pretty surprised. It started with one of the window wells being taken over at my bedroom, and I was bailing it while my wife and daughter were cleaning up.
Oh, my goodness.
And, we had control of it, though, our lives. But then eventually the backyard lake overtook. I had jokingly said to my neighbor, if the water stays, I'm either going to charge people to go swimming for beach or sell it as beachfront property.
Oh, jeez. Hey,
we've had to laugh, but it's been a struggling weekend, but we're trying to get through like everyone else.
Rob, listen, I want to thank you for calling with some kudos here on what went right after you finally get through and the help from the fire department and how that happened. Thank you for sharing that because it's important.
My father's bedridden, and they were just incredibly kind and helpful to try to make sure things were fine.
Now Dad's in what, the second bedroom now? Where's Dad now?
Well, because we built downstairs, they stay upstairs, so they were safe.
Okay.
But when I smelled the sulfur, I got him in his wheelchair right away in case we had to make a quick exit. But they were fantastic. So I think in all of this, neighbors helping out, just like your previous caller, sometimes it's okay to see, I guess, some of the light in all of this.
Absolutely. Rob, be well. Thanks for the call. That's Rob and DDO. We do traffic right here, and then Laura and Stefan and everyone else on the phone lines. Many of you are calling in. We'll get to all of you on the flip side of traffic. Okay, so let's do that right here, right now. This look at traffic brought to you by Supermarché Accavan and NDG and Pierre Fall. This week at Supermarché Accavan, sweet peacock hammy melon for only $2.99. Check out the flyer for more specials. And here is Debbie Marcellos.
Well, we still have the closure of Highway 13 through the airport tunnel with flooding there. The pump station's not working, and so they're working on it, but it is backing up on the 13 northbound from the 20 up to Côte de Liesse, where you're forced off the autoroute. Southbound side backs into Laval from Sampson. You're forced off at the Trans-Canada. Eastbound T-Can slows from Cavendish into Décarie. A lot of volume through the Décarie circle, but then it moves well eastbound Metropolitan. Westbound side busy through Saint-Michel, and then from Lacadie into Décarie. Northbound Décarie, slow and steady from Turcotte up to the Metropolitan, and Trans-Canada westbound out to Vaudreuil, backing up before Boulevard des Anciens Combattants. One lane on the Illitor Bridge toward Vaudreuil for the time being. That's the morning commute configuration. 2 lanes toward Montreal. They'll change that within the next hour and a half. Get charged up on your commute. Check out the selection of cutting-edge all-electric vehicles with a 10-year unlimited kilometer battery warranty. VinFastAuto.ca. Embrace the future. Let us know what you see on the roads. Call in your tips to Star 800. Your next report at 10 o'clock.
95.9 Virgin Radio is your hit music station. Here's Hear the hits first from your favorite artists. Montreal's #1 hit music station.
95.9 Virgin Radio.
Metropolitan Rust Proofing. Save $20 off their complete rust proofing treatment. Hurry, this offer ends soon. Metropolitan Rust Proofing. A smart investment that really pays.
What makes the Mazda CX-50 stand out from the competition in safety and reliability? Find out at the Mazda Find Out event. Thanks to a $1,000 Mazda bonus, the CX-50 starts at the equivalent of just $109 a week. Yes, $109 a week. Don't wait. The Mazda CX-50 is ready. Offer ends September 3rd, 48-month lease. Monthly payments required. $3,020 down. Conditions apply. Visit your Mazda dealer today.
Have you ever walked into a room and forgotten why you went there? Do you ever experience brain fog? Improve your memory and think clearly again with Clear Brain from New Nordic. Clear Brain is specifically formulated to help maintain cognitive function and help support memory. Using a powerful combination of clinically proven all-natural ingredients like ginkgo and walnut extract, New Nordic's Clear Brain is Scandinavia's #1 selling cognitive health supplement. Available at Shoppers Drug Mart, Walmart, Loblaws, Jean Coutu, and London Drugs, or online at Amazon and newnordic.ca.
By insuring 2 or more cars with Desjardins Insurance, you could save 15%. Now that's worthy of your attention. Kind of like that couple on the tandem bike.
Hello.
Buy your car insurance online. Conditions and limitations apply.
Do you have problems with your foundation? Problems with humidity? Problems with your crawl space? Problems with mold? Problems with your sump pump? Cracks in the bricks? Cracks in the walls? For all of these basement problems, contact Système Sous-Sol Québec at sousol.ca. Système Sous-Sol is the solution to all your basement problems, guaranteed for 25 years. Système Sous-Sol, your basement experts.
Petros Taverna, there's a taste of Greece near you. Westmount, Griffintown, Little Italy, Laurier, and Waterfront in Lachine, mouth-watering Greek specialties, bringing Montrealers back again and again. 5 locations, restaurantpetros.ca.
Summertime and the living is easy, but somehow your appliances and furniture needing replacement haven't gotten the memo. You've got to be efficient if you want to baptize that tube of sunscreen at the pool instead of at the store. With Germain Lariviere's Search, Find, Receive sale, that product you want, Germain has it in inventory. You'll get it in no time. Sure, you'll have to pay, but that's not a problem when paying sounds like saving. Get down to a store today and live your dreams. Germain Lariviere.
When the time comes to choose a new Toyota, never compromise on quality. Buy or lease your new Toyota at Spinelli Toyota.
It's time to Toyota at Spinelli Toyota. Drive off in the 2024 BZ4X LE starting at $118 per week on a 48-month lease at 4.99% with $0 down payment. A trendy choice for $37,442, including government rebates of $12,000 and $3,500 in incentives.
Spinelli Toyota, the address of choice for all automotive services in Lachine.
Make Canada proud.
With every team in it to win it, the race around the country continues on Canada's #1 reality series.
Go!
A new episode of The Amazing Race Canada, Tuesday at 9/8 Central on CTV.
Time for your take on the morning's hot topics. Call Elias at 514-790-0800 or text at 514-800.
All right, everybody, let's get back to our phone lines here as we talk to you about what happened on Friday and how you got through it. If you've gotten through it, by the way. I know many of you are still dealing with the aftermaths of all the rain that we saw on Friday. Let me go to Stefan in Dorval. Hi, Stefan. How you doing?
Hi, good, and you. Welcome back, Elias.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. So what happened on Friday?
So this is for my parents. We were okay. We're in Dorval, but my parents are in Vaudreuil, and the whole street is that they're redoing the sewers there, like they've been doing all around the West Island. And on that street, all the homes got 3 or 4 feet of water in the basement because of the lack of a pump being turned on or something during the construction of these sewers for the street. Mm-hmm. So that's the bad part. The second bad part was they were trying to call the city. They were trying to call 911 just to get someone to come and help. Like everyone else, they were getting busy signals. But when they did get through to 911, I was shocked when my mother told me the agent on the phone would not speak English to her.
What? No. She had to, they speak French, so she switched to French, but she
she was telling me she would not speak English. Okay. I mean, that's another story for another day. But I could not believe that. I said, I have to tell someone at CJAD about this because this is ridiculous. Anyway, the fire department did come. They were there very fast. They gave pumps to all the houses. They were speaking English. They were super nice. They were really helpful. So they helped get the water out of each of the houses, and my parents had to go rent some pumps to keep getting the water out because it was just coming in. It didn't stop all day.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's their story.
Stefan, listen, I'm telling you, I've called 911 various reasons, throughout my life, when either I want to help someone or I've witnessed something, that kind of thing. Right. I have never, ever had anything other than bilingual, especially from the operator, right? Sometimes the operator transfers you through to police, and the police person just doesn't have a great command of English, right? Which can happen. But I've never had a 911 operator do anything. I think I've had the bonjour hi on 911, to be honest. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I've never had anything other than completely bilingual, because this is so job one. 911 is the emergencies of the emergencies.
Exactly.
That's just, disappointing is not the word. I mean, I'm shocked here.
Yeah, shocking. I think most people try, but you get those one-offs here and there that think that they have the power, the control, and they just don't want to change.
That's it.
And I think that's what they got when they called.
And that's the worry, when we talk about the healthcare stuff, it's that these kinds of directives, even if we can debate what they say, but it can give people the reason to have a power trip.
Exactly.
Stefan, listen, thanks very much for the call, okay? I really do appreciate you chiming in here. Let me go to Donna in Vaudreuil. Hi, Donna.
Hi. Well, I had a worse situation in a way. I had water damage coverage with my insurance company, which I'm not going to name. Mm-hmm. Then they tell me because it was sewer backup, I didn't have sewer backup coverage. I had above ground water damage coverage.
Boy.
And I'm on my own. I got to do it by myself. And that really ticked me off. And now I'm worried because I have a forced air furnace. I can turn on the air conditioning. I'm waiting for a humidifier that's coming Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
But what a mess. And when they told me that, I almost lost my mind.
Oh, my God. So, Donna, listen, everyone listening, right, needs to take the time. It doesn't matter. Even if you're a renter, by the way. I'm a renter. I've got that. That's part of the insurance, too, even if you're a renter. Anyone who's got insurance here for your condo, the home you own, go and look at the policy. Because the sewer backup, that's a big deal. Make sure you are covered. If you didn't get hit today, just think about the future. Donna, you have any idea how much this is going to cost you?
Oh, it's going to, I had to rip out floating floor, lost furniture, carpet. Now I've got to go home personally and rip up 2 feet of drywall through the whole basement because I don't want mold starting.
Yeah.
And I've got to reconstruct. I have no idea.
Jeez.
I'm so mad.
Donna, thanks for the call. I'm so sorry about what happened to you, and hopefully, for everyone else there who just heard Donna's story, go check out your policy. Make sure you have the coverage, especially for events like this. Donna, be well, okay?
Yeah,
reach out if you need something else, okay? Let's go to Stella here. Hi, Stella.
Hi, good morning. How are you?
I'm good.
First time caller.
Welcome. Thank you.
I just wanted to give a little bit of a heads up for people that had this situation. Mine happened over 10.5 months ago, and I'm still in the middle of all this headaches. And I happen to have a fantastic insurance company, but everything that happens to people that have floodings or any kind of damages, they must document every detail. And the second that you touch things and move things away, it's like a crime scene. The second that you touch and move things away, you're not liable. They're not going to help you. So keep everything intact. Take pictures. Take videos. Keep every document. Everybody's valuables to them are their valuables, whether it has $10 value or $100 value. I moved some things, and unfortunately things happened because, I didn't have this document, that document. They want to give you the least possible for the money.
Well, that's right. That's the insurance companies at this point, right? They're trying to limit their losses at this point.
Right. So with my loss, I lost a tremendous amount of money, a tremendous amount of damages, and little tedious things that are important to me. They said it's not important. It's not a big deal. You can fix it. Nothing that gets damaged, in my opinion, is fixable. If your table is that way, even if they fix it up, they patch it up, it's not the way it was.
Yeah.
So people should know that very clearly. So they should
Stella,
everything should be documented.
For your first call, great first call, right? To bring up a very, very valid point. I gotta let you go, Stella. We're running up against the clock. For the people that haven't gotten through here, listen, on the flip side of news, I'm gonna try and squeeze you on. If you can be patient, I'll try and get you on air, this morning. On Saturday's extra show that we did here, right, I was speaking to Curtis Killen from KBD Insurance, and it was one of the points that he stressed is the document everything at this point. I mean, we're so lucky that today we've got smartphones that take incredible quality photos and videos. Right now, and you probably know this since Friday, document everything. If you're going to start to make that decision to throw stuff out, document everything, just for the insurance purposes. Okay, stay with us. Flip side of the news. We'll keep this going. Still so much news to get to. And a little later on in hour 2 of the program, we'll be speaking to Eric Duham, leader of the Conservatives. Stay with us.
This newscast brought to you by ElectroAid, heating and air conditioning specialists for over 70 years. They service all brands, no matter who put them in. 514-333-7460, electroaid.ca.
Good morning, it's 10:01. I'm Tom Whalen for Trudy Mason with your CTV News Update. Cloudy and 15 degrees downtown. Weather details in minutes. Here's what's making news right now. The cleanup and insurance claims that continue after Friday's storm. A federal Liberal MP from the West Island says the CAQ has gone too far. And remembering the beginning of the end for Nos Amours. With the latest from the CJAD 800 Traffic Center, here is Debbie Marcelos.
Well, Highway 13 is still closed through the airport tunnel. Southbound side, you're forced off at the T-Can, and traffic backs into Laval. From Sampson, on the northbound side, it backs to Highway 20, and you're forced off at Côte de Liesse. Eastbound Trans-Canada slows before Cavendish into Décarie, and northbound Décarie backs up from De La Vérendrye. Highway 20 is moving well. Westbound Trans-Canada into Vaudreuil, backing up from almost the Pine Overpass, because you're merging into one lane on the Illitor Bridge toward Vaudreuil for the morning commute. You still have 2 lanes available toward Montreal in from Vaudreuil on the eastbound Trans-Canada. Shop Best Buy's ultimate smartphone sale today. Get a Best Buy gift card of up to $200 on select phone activations with major carriers. Terms and conditions apply. Traffic and transit every 15 minutes on CJAD 800. Your next report at 10:15.
In the news, the arduous task of recovering from the damage left behind after Friday's storm seems as though it will be going on for quite some time. The biggest issue remains all the small lakes that people are dealing with in their basements. Pierre Babinski with the Insurance Board of Canada says it is important to note that cleanup is part of your insurance settlement.
Whatever the cost of this cleaning, will be part of the coverage that you have. So if you have, for example, a $30,000 endorsement for sewer backup, and the cleaning costs $5,000, then there would remain $25,000 to repair.
Quebec Public Security Minister François Bonnardel says dozens of municipalities have been impacted by the historic rainfall caused by the remnants of Tropical Storm Debbie. In Montreal, blue-collar workers and firefighters have been on the job since Friday, cleaning up and pumping out basements after the historic rainstorm. Environment Canada said that 154 millimeters of rain fell on Friday, breaking a Montreal daily record that was set in November of 1996 by over 60 millimeters. The SQ and the Morrissey region say they are investigating with the coroner's office to determine what led to the death of a man swept up by a river. The man's body found Sunday morning. He was pronounced dead at the scene. The man was in his 80s. He was swept into the Batiscan River in the town of Notre-Dame de Montauban Motoban after a roadway collapsed late Friday. The same day, post-tropical storm Debbie drenched the province with historic amounts of rain. Federal Liberal MP for the West Island Lac St. Louis riding, Francis Scarpellegia, says the CAQ's language laws have been on the federal radar for quite some time, prompting discussion both in the House and in caucus. But speaking to CJAD 800's Andrew Carter this morning, he says this latest move on language in the healthcare system has crossed a line.
I must say, in this particular case, this is beyond the pale. This is a bridge too far. And last week I had a good, lengthy conversation with Federal Health Minister Mark Holland, and he'll be speaking with some of my colleagues from Montreal later this week. And I impressed upon the minister that this is definitely not okay at all. And he agreed that access should not be limited. Access to healthcare should not be limited based on language anywhere in the country.
Scarpellegia says the CAQ reaction to the federal ministers on the subject rings hollow, and that, in his words, the left hand doesn't seem to know what the right hand is doing. And today is the anniversary of one of the darkest days in what many would say is Montreal sports history, especially if you speak to an Expos fan. CTV's Kelly Gregg looks back on the day the Expos were robbed of a World Series.
I have goosebumps just saying it. When they finally announced that it wasn't happening, it felt like you just got sucker punched.
On August 12th, 1994, the strike started.
We all thought, the players included, that it would be a short lockout and that we'd all come back within a month or two max, and that the season would continue.
But by September 14th, the season was officially over, leaving many wondering if that 94 team could have gone all the way.
The pain never goes away. Every time you talk about it, it just gets you, riled up.
To not ever feel October baseball it's the only thing that I wish, we could get back.
I think it's just unfinished business that we never got to take care of.
30 years later, those lesser known stories still resonate.
I brought my kids there. I got two sons there. I was so happy that they lived that.
It was something that we got to experience together, which, as brothers, really kept us close.
A silver lining in the season that could have been.
For interviews and other audio, go to CJAD800.com or download the iHeartRadio app. Your Dormez-vous Weather Center forecast, mainly cloudy, chance of showers late this morning and this afternoon. There is the risk of an afternoon thunderstorm as well. Today's high 23, partly cloudy with a chance of showers this evening and then clearing overnight with a low of 15. Tomorrow, sunny, breezy, and 27, sunny, and 29 on Wednesday. Right now, it's cloudy, 15 degrees in downtown Montreal. For all the news during the day, stream us on your smart speaker. Just say play CJAD 800, your next CTV News update at 10:30.
Being a sleep expert at Dormez-vous, I've met a lot of couples who can agree on everything, except what they want from a mattress. Plush or firm, cooling or cozy. You don't need to choose. We can match you to a mattress and sleep essentials that have what you both need to get a great night's rest. Because at Dormez-vous, we solve sleep. At the Mix and Match event, find a mattress with the right mix of comfort and support. Right now, get a queen mattress for only $449 until Sunday. Only at Dormez-vous.
Is your home in need of a fresh new look? Look no further than Renovco. At Renovco, they turn your dreams into reality. From kitchens, bathrooms, and basements, their expert team handles it all with precision and care. Customer satisfaction is their top priority, providing quality craftsmanship and exceptional service on time and on budget since 2001. Ready to start your renovation journey? Call Renovco today at 514-856-9993 or visit renovco.com. Renovco, your home reimagined.
Fully charged and ready to roll. The Elias Macco Show. CJAD 800.
All right, everyone, welcome back to the Elias Macco Show. Second hour of the program. I got Maxime Cadotte producing this one. He's in for Lola Calder. Jay Farrar is behind the board. We've got Tom Whalen on newscast and bass guitar. Hey, Tom.
Yes.
How you doing this morning? Okay.
Very well, thank you. How are you?
I'm doing okay, but your newscast, you provide us with a brief part of Kelly Gregg's fantastic report on the 1994 Montreal Expos. Today is that 30-year anniversary.
Don't remind me.
Of that. Yeah, don't, exactly. So that's what I wanted to get to. You're in the don't remind me kind of camp. Like you look back at that day and it's not good memories?
Not really.
Yeah.
No. I remember very clearly, going to that game just because I knew that.
The last home game before? Yeah. Okay.
That it would be probably the last home game.
So, this 30 years ago, I know where I was because I remember 30 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
I remember I was crying. Now I'm trying to remember if I was crying when the strike was called or if I was crying on the day a month or so later when the league canceled the rest of the season.
Yeah.
But I will remember that forever, being a little kid crying because the Expos didn't have a season. Now, you did it to us during the newscast, okay? You decide let's throw in Kelly Gregg's report. Let's pull on the heartstrings strings of the host of the Elias Macko Show. Let's do that. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to do it back at you.
Okay.
I was down a rabbit hole this weekend, looking at archival newscasts and that kind of thing. Have a listen to this. This is Pulse News, 1994, okay? August 11th, 1994, so the day before the strike, and this is Ron Roosh.
Who was my boss, by the way.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Really? Okay.
I worked in the sports department at Channel 12.
Well, there you go. Okay, so your old boss, Ron, okay, here's his recap of the Expos' last win of the season, which came in Pittsburgh. Have a listen.
Last night, the Expos won their 6th in a row, their 74th game of the season, behind the pitching of Pedro Martinez.
The kid is finally getting it right. He pitched into the 9th, allowing 4 hits with 5 strikeouts. And when he was in trouble in the 5th with the bases loaded, he got Gary Varsho to line to Sean Berry, who doubled Van Slyke at third to end the inning. And a 3-run third inning did the rest. First, Grip's home run to left center. That's his 11th of the season. Moises Alou puts it off the wall and left, and that scores Will Cordero to make it 2-0. And to finish the inning, Walker singles up the middle, scoring Moises. 3-0. The icing, Moises again in the 9th inning with a double to the left field corner to score Grissom. 4 for 5 for Mo, and he's hitting .340 now. And the one batter save for Wetland, Jeff King, on a check swing, and goodbye. 6 in a row now for the ball club, 20 of the last 22, and a 7-game lead on the Braves.
They won 20 of their last 22 games. You know, that's something I forget. Just how good that team was.
I forgot how good Ron Roosh was at those packages.
Oh my! His highlight packages. I thought the same thing.
Live, eh? Mm-hmm. He would voice over those things live on the air as they were running. He would watch the video and tell you what was going on.
It was so tight. I was thinking of that as well. As like, and just that last win that they had. Like everyone in the lineup had a role to play. You just hear all the names. Mm-hmm. Pretty incredible. Tom, Jeff Facero, who was a pitcher for the 1994 Expos, is going to join us a little later on in this program, by the way.
Terrific.
If you'd like to reminisce with one of the players from the field of that season. Thanks so much, Tom.
My pleasure.
By the way, just behind the glass here, we got one guy who definitely remembers. One guy was probably too young, was probably not even on this planet at the time. So I just want to take a moment here. What about you, Jay? Do you view this day, have you just put it out of your mind? You don't want to think about it? Because I know some people stop reminiscing, it's done with, it's over. I think on a round number anniversary, we can talk about this, but I'd love to know, what you remember from 30 years ago.
Yeah, I don't think about it too often anymore, but when I do think about it, I see it as a great memory. Because there's nothing we can do about it at this point, right? So when I look over the years, at first I was bitter for a long time. For over a decade, I was bitter about it. But now when I look back on it, and I think about that time, I was 17. I had graduated in June of 1994.
Oh my God, the timing.
I wore my Expos jersey every single day to school, and it was the first time that kids my age were really into the Expos and baseball. Before, they was kind of lame to them. Everybody loved the Habs, right? Yeah. Habs had won the Stanley Cup the year before.
It was a big part of that switch over for a lot of people.
Yeah.
And I want to say the way you put it about, thinking about how it's a positive memory.
Yeah.
I think your brother, Anakin Slade, bro, his song, the Remember 94 song.
Yeah.
I think it's a big part of one of the reasons why I view it the same way now.
Yeah.
It's a good memory.
It was a good vibe.
Because of that.
It was a good vibe, but what was happening in the city, take that 40,000 that were in Olympic Stadium, packing it. Like, our World Series was that that series against the Braves that Jimmy had mentioned earlier. That was our World Series. Enjoy it for what it was. The city was abuzz. It's what we got. In the end, it didn't work out. But you know what? It was fun to watch Ken Burns baseball that made its debut.
Oh, that summer on PBS. That fall, right after the strike had begun. Yeah. So those are the memories that I hold. Mr. Maxime Cadotte, now you were an embryo at the time or something.
Not even,
right? So, but you're a huge sports fan.
Yes.
So what do you think of when you hear us old timers reminiscing here?
No, I think it's true that at this point, as Jay mentioned, like, what's done is done and what's in the past is in the past, and like, you could still look back at it a bit, kind of a glory day, if you will. To me, what's striking is I remember a couple years ago when the Washington Nationals won the World Series. They were the team exactly, but that's my point. That's my point. There's still the back of the mind of people watching baseball what could have been, what could have become.
That's true. And I'll say this, as someone that was at the first ever Washington Nationals game, 2005, I went to Washington because I had friends who were working for the team at that point. They had moved with the team from Montreal. Being at that first game, they scored their first run, that stadium went crazy, and that was the biggest gut punch. Realizing what we lost, when I saw 60,000 people in Washington at RFK jumping up and down, I was like, I'm never going to feel that again.
Yeah.
All right, enough reminiscing. We'll do some more later on in the show. Jeff Facero, pitcher from that 94 team, will join us. A bit of a sportsy frame of mind this morning, because coming up next, we're going to take a look back at the 2024 Paris Olympics. Couple of things we'll discuss. The breakdancing woman from Australia. You've all seen her by now. Plus, doping. By my count, nobody's been caught doping at this Olympic Games. What's up with that? We're going to try and find out coming up next on the show. We do traffic right here, right now. 10:16. Traffic is brought to you by Cars for Kids, the easiest way to get rid of your old car and get a tax receipt. Donate today and your car can be picked up tomorrow at carsforkids.ca. And here is Debbie Marcellos.
Well, it's still a pretty busy drive because of Highway 13 that's closed through the airport tunnel because of flooding. They're fixing the pumping station, and it backs up on 13 northbound from the 20 to Côte de Liesse, where you're forced off the autoroute. Southbound side clearing out in from Laval. It does slow, but you are forced off at the Trans-Canada on 13 South. Eastbound T-Can slowing before Cavendish into Décarie, and Décarie northbound. That's heavy from Sherbrooke up to the Metropolitan. Met westbound slows Lacadie into Décarie, and Laurentian South to board the Metropolitan, still slowing before Henry Bourassa. We have congestion on the Trans-Canada westbound heading into Vaudreuil with only one lane on the Illitor Bridge this morning for the morning commute. We still have two lanes toward Montreal on the eastbound side, but that zipper truck is going to come and remove one of the lanes. Still seeing major congestion in Léry, Highway 30 eastbound, where a truck went into the ditch at Rue de la Gare. Traffic backs from the 207 on the 30 east. Shop Best Buy's ultimate smartphone sale today. Get a Best Buy gift card of up to $200 on select phone activations with major carriers. Terms and conditions apply. Let us know what you see on the roads. Call in your tips to star 800. Your next report at 10:30.
When the time comes to choose a new Lexus, never compromise on quality. Buy or lease your new Lexus at Spinelli Lexus.
Experience amazing now with the 2024 RX 350 all-wheel drive premium package from $638 a month at 1.9% on a 36-month lease, with $8,260 down, including up to 1.5% in total rate reductions for loyal customers.
Spinelli Lexus, the address of choice for all automotive services.
At 1-800-GOT-JUNK, we believe.
We believe in repurposing the junk we make disappear.
We donate the donatables so that a new family can love them.
Those items get a new life.
We believe in recycling the recyclables.
Raw material for brand new products.
And we believe in returning natural resources to the earth. And we believe in you.
We know you want to make a difference.
Let us help you do that.
All you have to do is point.
Call 1-800-GOT-JUNK.
Or visit 1-800-GOT-JUNK.com.
Everyone, it's game time. With Gold Medal Pure Fiber Internet and 5 TV, you can do everything you love all at the same time.
Like stream super smoothly?
Yes.
Crush it on my video game?
That's the Gold Medal spirit.
Catch all my favorite TV shows?
Yes. Who's in?
Yeah!
Go for gold. Bring home Canada's fastest internet and Wi-Fi and 5 TV with 5 channels of your choice, plus Crave for $79 a month. Visit Bell.ca to check availability. Bell, getting more just got better.
What makes the Mazda CX-5 a best pick according to Protégé Vu? Find out at the Mazda Find Out event. Thanks to a $1,000 Mazda bonus, the CX-5 starts at the equivalent of $99 a week. Yes, $99 a week. Experience Mazda's style, reliability, and performance today. Offer ends September 3rd. 48 monthlies, monthly payments required. $1,980 down. Conditions apply. Visit your Mazda dealer today.
If the rising cost of living is keeping you on shore, it's time to think Suzuki Repower. Bring new life to your boat with a Suzuki Ultimate Outboard Motor, professionally installed by an authorized Suzuki dealer. Get amazing results, superior fuel efficiency, whisper quiet performance, and exceptional reliability. Don't miss out on summer. Get out on the water now with Suzuki. Visit your local Suzuki dealer today or Suzuki.ca.
This is Mike from Andy's house. If you or a loved one are struggling with drugs or alcohol, call us to learn more about our top-rated programs, including our new 35-day Residential Plus program. Call 514-738-ANDY. 514-738-ANDY. Call today.
Travel better with Air Canada. You can enjoy free beer, wine, and premium snacks in economy class. Now extended to flights within Canada and the U.S. Cheers to taking off this summer. More details at aircanada.com.
Right now, when you buy a Silverado, you get the same price as Chevrolet employees. You don't even have to come into the office tomorrow or the day after tomorrow. You can enjoy the High Country's leather seats or the ZR2's off-road front bumper, and we won't even expect to see you at our Chevrolet office party. So choose a Silverado, and we won't see you at the office tomorrow. During the employee pricing event, get a purchase or lease credit of up to $10,500 on selected 2024 Silverado 1500 and HD models. Conditions apply. Details at ChevroletOffers.ca.
When big news happens,
the Didio family found themselves caught in a suburban shootout.
Montrealers know where to turn.
We could see anywhere between 50 to 100 millimeters of rain.
Watch CTV News at 6 and visit ctvnewsmontreal.ca.
Great talk and good company every morning. Elias Mackos, CJAD 800.
All right, everybody, continuing things on the Elias Mackos show. Now, the Olympics wrapped up in Paris. Oh, my goodness. See Tom Cruise? See Tom Cruise, part of the closing ceremonies? It was a very successful Olympics for Canada, a country finishing with 27 medals, including 9 gold medals, the most successful non-boycotted Olympics in our country's history. It also makes me think of the 76 Olympics that were held here in this city and how we didn't win a single gold medal. What was up? You people that were around in 1976, why didn't you come up with a program like an Own the Podium program 50 years ago to win some medals in this city? Anywho, I digress. But let's take a look back now on the Olympics that just completed in Paris. And were they a success overall? James Vassina joins us on the line, sports editor for France 24. James, welcome to the program. Oh, there goes James. We'll try and get James back on in just a moment. While we wait to get James back on, there are a couple of things that I do want to discuss with him. First things first is the Australian breakdancer. Now, some of you know that they put breakdancing in the Paris Olympics, and a lot of people were saying, why is breakdancing in the Olympics? I was asking that same question. In fact, they booted out baseball for breakdancing, so I am particularly affected by it. And then what we saw over the weekend with the Australian breakdancer, who apparently is, got to go to the Olympics. She is a PhD student in cultural movement, right? When I get breakdancing is a form of cultural movement. So she's not necessarily a breakdancer, a competitive breakdancer, yet there she was competing. And of course, I don't know everything about how breakdancing works, especially at the Olympic level, but they're battles, right? You go up against another breakdancer, and then the judges will give you points. And each of her 3 matches, Ray Gunn, the Australian breakdancer, she lost 18-0. Each of those 3 contests that she had in the round-robin round of the breakdancing tournament of the Olympics. Enough on breakdancing for a second. We've got James back. James Vassina, sports editor for France 24. Hi, James. Welcome to the show.
Hi there. How's it going?
I'm doing well. At this point, when a big event ends, it's a letdown, right? You're on a high for a couple of weeks. How are you feeling this morning?
We're on an absolute high, and you're right. I mean, right now it is kind of sinking. the Olympics, but also because we've been working 17 days straight, but also just in general because the Olympics, I think, surprised all of us. I mean, I was speaking to you on the radio just before the game started, and a lot of us in Paris were just
Oh, I think we've lost James again, eh? Phone lines in France. Everyone knows France, highly union-regulated country. So the phones go down. You got to call like 29 million people. I'll never forget the first time I went, well, the only time. I went to Paris. And I get to Paris, the first time I've ever been to Paris, I'm seeing the Eiffel Tower. I'm walking through some beautiful streets and whatever arrondissement I was in. And then I walked by the Kentucky Fried Chicken, and it's KFC. Unlike here in Quebec where it's PFK, it was KFC. So I'm walking by a KFC in Paris, and ladies and gentlemen, there was a sign saying closed en grève. Fermé en grève. The employees at the KFC were on strike. That's the kind of union environment you have in Paris, France, in France. So I would imagine poor James and his cell phone company, there's no chance he's going to get a decent signal this morning out of the Olympics. One other thing that I think we have to ask ourselves this morning is about doping. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to present to you one of two options here when it comes to the Olympics and doping. Nobody got caught doping at the Paris Olympic Games. Send me a text message, by the way, 514-790-0800. Here are the two options. Nobody got caught doping at the 2024 Paris Olympic Games. So do you think it's one of these two possible scenarios? One is Olympians, athletes have decided altogether we want to be clean. We're not going to use any performance-enhancing drugs. So do you think that was what happened? Or do you think that they just didn't catch anyone? Maybe there's even new ways of evading the testing for doping. I've got James Vicina back on the line, direct from France. Hi, James. Third time's a charm.
Hi, third time's a charm. Sorry, just to make things absolutely clear to you, because it's been so much for us in the city, I've headed straight out and I'm now back in the countryside. So the reception wasn't so great, but I'm back here. So it has been a lot for us over the last 2 weeks.
So James, in the few minutes we have, here's what I was just talking about, and one thing that I wanted to touch on you, and I don't know if anyone's talking about this in your neck of the woods in France right now in the aftermath. I noticed that nobody got caught doping. And I just threw this at our listeners. Like, there's two options here. Either athletes around the world have given up on performance-enhancing drugs and they've decided to just play clean, or there's a way around the testing now that people have figured out. What is this? Are people talking about this? That absolutely no positive tests from an entire games?
People are talking about it. I believe there was a positive test somewhere in the athletics, but in general, in terms of performances, yes, there is talk. Most of the talk has been with the swimming, because of course when we think about, I mean, the most obvious situation was the concerns about some of the Chinese swimmers who had failed tests. Well, we'd learned they'd failed tests before. This was well before the Olympics, but they were still allowed to compete. And the most talk that we've heard from that has been, we actually got to speak to Adam Peaty, who's very, very vocal and said that he was let down and he didn't trust WADA. That has been the most concerning side of things. And yes, us, when we watch some of the athletes, you question things, but it's the same with every event. I mean, I was at the Tour de France just a week before the Olympics started, and you look at Pogacar, he's absolutely incredible, but there are so many questions that still happen there. And yes, if no one's being caught, what can you say? So obviously I want to look at the bright side of things and believe that things are right, but yes, you can't forget this. I mean, doping has not disappeared in sports. That's for certain.
And James, thanks for the correction there, because yes, one Russian was stripped of his medal at these games, but just one, which is still, a surprising thing. And you mentioned all of the murmurs from the pool that happened there. Let's just stick on water for a second, James. How'd the river end up doing? The E. coli in the river? Did we, all things considered, okay? What happened?
Listen, I haven't heard of anybody being too ill. I know there was one Belgian swimmer who came out saying that she wasn't well. But for the number of people who swam, it would be hard to put a number on how many people were actually in there, but it was definitely well over 100 in all. It's pretty extraordinary. I mean, Paris puts in 1.4 billion euros, if that figure's correct. So don't forget that is a substantial amounts just to clean up the River Seine, which flows through the middle of the city. So yes, there are areas in which people can swim in during the summer, but the whole aim is they did this with saying that Parisians would then be able to swim. Athletes going in, obviously, it's given people a lot of reassurances, but they pulled it off. I mean, it worked. The concerns were whether it was going to be raining too much around the events, and that was, fortunately, they managed to deal with the weather, because what happens is that when it rains too much in Paris, well, the sewage overflows, so there's no swimming, of course, happening in there. But Paris pulled it off, and just as Paris pulled off so much in there, and it's not because I'm in France that I'm saying it, but it was, I mean, and as I mentioned to you earlier on, I mean, we didn't believe that it was going to be this good, but it genuinely was. I mean, I don't know what you guys thought in Canada, but we thought it was extraordinary.
Well, that's the sense I'm getting, and I hear it in your voice there. It feels like there's a sense from the people in France, mission accomplished. Oh my God, we did it, and we did it better than expected, which is lovely to have that feeling after a big event.
It is. And let me just add this also, is that people were happy for it to happen. I mean, if there's anything that you know about the French are not the most easygoing, easy to please people. We do a lot of complaining. There's a lot of demonstrations all the time, so I think you get that idea.
Yeah.
But we were happy to have this happen, and it was actually, in a way, surprising and nice to see so much pride in our country, because we don't actually have, I know there's more of a culture, I don't know if it's the same in Canada, but I think in the United States, there's a lot of this culture, this pride of the country, pride for the athletes. Yes, we're proud of our athletes, and yes, we've hosted World Cups, we've hosted the Euros, but to see it to this extent, it's been a long time. I've never felt that, and that's been something really new for a lot of people I know, to feel this kind of like coming together.
James,
around the nation and around the sport.
It's like, and it was great to see that, because in this country, James, sometimes it's like, are we a country? Like, like sometimes that's the feeling we get when it comes to the patriotism. James, I gotta wrap up, but final thoughts on Ray Gunn, the breakdancer.
Listen, hats off. I think that a lot of these Olympics weren't about winning. We've seen that in so many cases, and I think that was actually one of the beautiful sides, is that we saw so many athletes who missed out on golds celebrate other athletes. So whatever the performance was, a lot of people just came in giving everything, and that was truly beautiful. I mean, we saw it in the breaking, we saw it in gymnastics when they were bowing down to Andrade, we saw it in the judo. So it was more, these are moments about a person in a person's life that people will remember more than the medals in the end.
James Vicina, I imagine, is going to be enjoying some wine, some cheese, and a baguette today, and he is also sports editor for France 24. Thanks so much, James.
Thank you very much.
When we return on the Elias Macco Show, we're going to be taking a look at business travel for In Transit today. Hey, is your boss now sending you back on planes across the country, across the continent? Carl Moore is going to talk to us about what's happening with business travel coming up next.
This newscast brought to you by MontrealHandSurgery.com. For non-surgical treatment of Dupuytren's disease, call board-certified Dr. Daniel Durand at MontrealHandSurgery.com.
Good morning, it's 10:31. I'm Tom Whalen for Trudy Mason with a CTV News update. Here's what's making news right now. A stretch of Highway 13 remains closed after the combination of Friday's heavy rain and a failed pumping station led to the flooding of the airport tunnel. This as homes and businesses around the province deal with what the rain left behind. Federal West Island MP Francis Scarpaleggia says the Legault government has gone too far with their latest language directives in the healthcare system. He also says the CAQ reaction to his concerns and those of his colleagues ring hollow. 600 unionized hotel employees at the Queen Elizabeth have voted for a renewed strike mandate as contract talks continue to lag. For more news, go to ctvnewsmontreal.ca, including a story about how children are being increasingly injured by electric scooters. With the latest from the CJAD 800 Traffic Center, here's Debbie Marcellos.
Well, Highway 13 remains closed through the airport tunnel southbound. You're forced off at the Trans-Canada and northbound side at Côte de Liesse. The congestion is heavier on 13 northbound, and at the Illitor Bridge, one lane is available toward Vaudreuil. Traffic backs up before Boulevard des Anciens Combattants. We had a complete stop at the Illitor span on the eastbound side for a while. Now 2 lanes remain open, but we are expecting to see that zipper truck remove one of the lanes toward toward Montreal on the eastbound Ile Tourte in from Vaudreuil. Northbound to Carrie slows from Turcotte up to the Metropolitan. Eastbound Trans-Canada's from Cavendish into DeCarry. Uber Eats is bringing you a summer of endless deals to your backyard, picnic, or front door. Order now and enjoy deals on your favorite restaurants all summer long. Traffic and transit every 15 minutes on CJAD 800. Your next report at 10:45.
Your Dormez-vous Weather Center forecast, mainly cloudy with chance of showers late this morning and this afternoon. There is a risk of an afternoon thunderstorm as well. Today's high 23, partly cloudy with a chance of showers this evening, then clearing overnight with a low of 15. Tomorrow, sunny, breezy and 27, sunny and 29 on Wednesday. Right now, it's cloudy, 15 degrees in downtown Montreal. Your next CTV News update at 11 o'clock.
Join the conversation anytime between now and noon. The Elias Macco Show on CJAD 800.
Let me ask you a question. You can shoot me a text at 514-790-0800. Are you back to traveling for work? I know there were a couple of years there where it just seemed like all corporate travel was off the table. Use Zoom, right? Oh, you could do that over Zoom. It seems like business travel is returning. Have you sent yourself out on the road? Has your boss said, hey, head to Halifax, head to Vancouver, head to New York City? I'd love to know if business travel is back for you. We're going to discuss that with Carl Moore next.
News Talk Radio, CJAD 800. We go where you go.
On iHeartRadio.
Updates and analysis, opinion and commentary.
The latest audio and top podcasts.
Plus,
browse curated playlists like Songs of the Summer 2024.
News Talk Radio, CJAD 800.
Take us everywhere, easy and free.
On iHeartRadio.
The best of the best is back at Mitsubishi Motors, making the industry's best warranty even better. The no-charge 10-year extended warranty valued at $3,750 is available right now on all Mitsubishi SUVs. Visit your local Mitsubishi dealer today for more details. Conditions apply.
The best way to get to any event in Montreal? The STM. It's practical, affordable, and full of fans like you. With the STM, birds of a feather ride together.
When renovating, you want peace of mind. Call Renovco, winner of Consumer's Choice Award and West Island Chamber of Commerce Excellence in Business category. Renovco.com, 514-856-9993.
Metropolitan Rust Proofing. Save $20 off their complete rust proofing treatment. Hurry, this offer ends soon. Metropolitan Rust Proofing. A smart investment that really pays.
You deserve a home that makes you proud, inside and out. With 25% off Seco exterior paints and stains until August 21st, you can protect your home, rain or shine. Find a retailer near you at seco.ca. Seco, see color.
Does your company struggle with hiring? Discover Recruit Without Borders, a leading Canadian recruitment agency specializing in local and foreign worker placements. One of the fastest growing domestic and foreign worker recruitment firms in Canada, providing reliable, cost-effective solutions for skilled trades and high turnover roles. Recruit Without Borders offers the lowest cost in Canada, a database of over 80,000 candidates, a streamlined immigration process to reduce workload for employers, and an exclusive no-cost guarantee. To learn more, visit recruitwithoutborders.com. It's easier than you think.
There are all kinds of reasons a couple might be having trouble with intimacy. Men, especially, often feel like they're not up to the task of talking about it, that is. But that's the most important part. Talk about it with your partner and then book a consultation at elnasexualwellness.com. Help is available, always with respect and discretion, in DeCarry Square. Take a break from your usual online activity and visit elnasexualwellness.com.
That late summer heat calls for summer drink days at McDonald's. Cool down with a refreshing small frappe, a real fruit smoothie, or a flavored cold brew starting at just $3 each plus tax. Step up your summer today. Not valid with any other offer. At participating McDonald's restaurants in Canada. Prices exclude delivery.
Think you need deep pockets to switch to an all-electric vehicle? Think again. Nissan is taking between $3,000 and $5,000 off the all-electric Nissan Ariya. That's on top of up to $12,000 in government rebates for eligible customers and the chance to ditch gas forever. Experience E-Force all-wheel drive, zero-gravity front seats, and a max range of up to 465 kilometers on one charge. When you think about all the money you're saving, you're going to need bigger pockets. To test drive the all-electric Nissan Ariya, visit your Nissan dealer during the Go Nissan sales event. Conditions apply. Details at Nissan.
We begin tonight. Canada's top stories. Canada's most trusted. Canada's #1 newscast.
We have exclusive details.
CTV National News with Omar Sajidina. Weeknights at 11. Stream on all your favorite devices.
La STN vous souhaite la bienvenue à bord.
You can carpool with him. Elias Mackos is in transit on CJAD 800.
In Transit today takes a look at business travel. I've got a thought from a listener here who writes, business travel, Elias, is not back as it used to be, not even close. Those days are over. Ask any travel agent. Expect businesses to Asia. North American travel for business is mostly all Zoom, except for conventions. Same for Europe, way down. Taking a look to what some stats tell us, globally, business travel up about 15% year over year. And then looking at Canada, just shy of that, just a few percentage points behind that 15% level. So there are signs that business travel may be coming back, but there are other hurdles in the way. And in fact, what happens when you do go on that business travel? Are you finding yourself stranded at an airport more often than not? And then, of course, on the horizon, there could be some more bad news when it comes to business travel. Let's find out more. Carl Moore is with us, professor in the Desautels Faculty of Management at McGill, and, of course, the host of the CEO series right here on CJAD. Hi, Carl. Welcome back.
Great to talk to you, Elias.
So, business travel, what are you seeing?
Well, something where it's up compared to, obviously, the pandemic. And even coming out of the pandemic, it took a while to recover, unlike, vacation travel where it's kind of revenge travel. We want to go out there and see the world. It's come back fairly strongly and may be back to record levels in 2025. So there's some positive news. But as you point out, Elias, there's a lot of late flights, a lot of things like that happening. And we all saw that last year, or, this year and last year. So that's caused some problems. People are getting tired of Zoom. And there's a certain point in a sales process, and I work for IBM in sales, you've got to go out there and schmooze the customer, got to understand their needs and align your product, your service with their needs more effectively. So there's a strong need to do that. Now, it looks like doing it at conferences is a bit of a trend out there rather than going out there and doing in sales calls. So there's a couple, positive and a couple negatives at the same time.
And I'm noticing this from my friends that work in sales, especially. They've been telling me now, I got to go to New York City for, to try and make a sale. Or I've got to go to San Diego, try and make a sale. And not necessarily conferences, even just straight up, I'm spending time in New York to try and get a business. So something is changed there. And I wonder, Carl, you speak to CEOs all the time. Is some of it have to do with they're trying to get employees back in the office, and you got to sort of tell your employees, hey, we want you back in the office, and we'll do the business travel too. It can't just be Zoom to save money, but everyone, you can't stay at home. Maybe they were trying to get everyone on the same page on that front.
Well, it might be a bit of a reward for coming back to the office 3 days a week, but part of it is like, if you're traveling on business, you don't have to be in one of those 3 days, and so you can be in New York and go to see a play on Broadway. It's not such a bad thing. So I think there's senior executives, they're older almost by definition, really do prefer being in person. And they grew up with that, and I think they're right to a considerable degree that you've got to be there. It's about being human and human contact. But younger people disagree somewhat. They're not entirely wrong though either.
And have you been hearing from CEOs, from people in the business world, that they're worried, obviously 4 years ago dealing with the pandemic, and now they're worried on the horizon that perhaps a recession is coming, and they're readjusting plans because of that?
Well, something where there may be a recession. It's it could go either way. And one of the things we talk about in class, and is what do you do with tough times? And the CEOs are old enough; they've been through 3 or 4 recessions. And there's different strategies. One is you're pulling your horns. The other one is to say, look, this is when we're going to buy maybe a competitor, but they're going to be cheaper than any other time. So you kind of suck it up and go for it. It is an approach may well win, but is more risky as well. So as we look at a recession coming, it's a real point of conversation, but it hasn't really settled officially to what it's going to be next year. But it's a real possibility that makes you pause and think a little bit about your strategy.
And speaking of strategy, what should the airline strategy be right now? If you've got perhaps businesses that are thinking about it, but they've heard the horror stories, oh yeah, I sent my guy out to go on a sales trip, and then he gets stuck in the airport for 2 days. What should airlines be doing as part of their strategy to woo business travel back?
Well, exactly. They need to get greater reliability. Part of it's the airports, to be honest. But they need to, have fewer flights canceled. And some of that is out of their control because the airports mess up, IT systems fail sometimes. But they need to improve their reliability, and they understand that, and they're working to do a better job of that. There's also peak demand times like summer and Christmas. And so we're getting into a less demanding time in the sense that families are back, not traveling because school's starting in a couple of weeks. Mm-hmm. So it'd be a little bit less demand up till Thanksgiving and so on. So there's a time, which they've been doing, think about how do we get some of these problems solved and go out and solve them. So from our viewpoint, we're doing the best we can. And there's others, weather, we live in Canada. What can we do, Elias?
Yeah,
so
that's right.
Things like that we can't control, but work on the things you can control.
Carl, just to wrap up here, I see such a focus from airlines on premium economy, like economy offerings where they can upcharge a bit. How important is business travel in general for airlines nowadays?
Well, it's hugely important in terms of the kind of profitability that comes from the front. And that's, and I've been traveling, my wife and I, as grade 2 teacher, we flew around the world because we flew only for taxes. So we flew around the world. We're on, a dozen flights. And you could just see how crowded business class was. Mm-hmm. And now some of it is pilots being upgraded because they're flying and their employees and things like that. The business class is incredibly important, but there's a lot of revenue in the back. And if you get me to pay a little bit more for a little bit more leg room and things like that, that can really add up as well. So it's a good strategy they're taking, because you can get the cheap seats, but then you might go, I'll spend a little bit more money to sit in the aisle because I'm 6'3". I can stretch my legs a bit. These are things that people go, it's not that much money, I'll pay for it.
Carl, we're going to leave it there. Thanks so much for jumping on with us this morning.
Always a pleasure, Elias.
Carl Moore is the host of the CEO series right here on CJAD 800. When we return, we're going to be joined by Eric Duham, the leader of the Conservative Party of Quebec. I'm going to get his thoughts on the language directive for the healthcare sector. And we'll get his reaction to what Jean-François Roberge had to say on CJAD on Friday as well. We do that next. Traffic right here, right now, 10:46. Here is Debbie Marcellos.
Elias, they're a bit late to remove the lane on the Illitorp Bridge toward Montreal in from Vaudreuil. It looks like the zipper truck is on its way now, and so traffic is backing up only toward Vaudreuil on the westbound Trans-Canada from before Boulevard des Anciens Combattants. We still have the closure on Highway 13 through the airport tunnel. Flooding that a broken pump system has not been able to fix, and so traffic still slowing on Laurentian southbound, rather the 513 southbound from Gouin down to the exit for the Trans-Canada where you're forced off. Northbound side slows from Hickmore up to Côte de Liesse. Northbound to Carrie, backing up from de la Vérendrye on 15 northbound, heavy out to the South Shore at the Champlain Bridge. We're seeing delays from de la Vérendrye all the way through to Nuns Island on 15 southbound. For fresh quality meat, Adonis is your destination. Until August 14th, a whole chicken is only $1.94 per pound. Let us know what you see on the roads. Call in your tips to Star 800. Your next report at 11.
Show 97.7 is Montreal's home for rock and roll. 60 minutes of non-stop rock throughout your workday. The spirit of rock. Show 97.7.
Hello, I'm Richard Lapointe at CIBC Wood Gundy. Clients come to us when they want lower risk investments. When safeguarding your family's future, you want to know the money you invest will always be there. My partners and I have developed an approach that can help you generate income on your stock portfolio.
It's called covered call writing. Hi, I'm Ian Chun. Covered call writing involves earning rent, so to speak, on your investment portfolio.
I'm Giancarlo Cataldo, and Ian is exactly right. It's a great strategy, especially during times of market volatility.
And I'm Nicholas Constas. Little wins along the way ensure a positive long-term outcome. And, as we like to say, you can't lose by winning.
Covered call writing, a strategy we use to make sure your money works for you. We're the Lapointe Investment Group, and we can always be reached at 514-847-6324. That's 514-847-6324.
CIBC Wood Gundy is a division of CIBC World Markets Inc., member of CIPF and IROC.
I am loving this spa. So glad we can afford this. And just before school starts, no less. Just melts the stress away. Hey, did you fall asleep? Oh, okay. Couldn't tell with cucumbers covering your eyes.
E-Box, it's so relaxing for your piggy bank. 100% fiber internet, 1 gigabyte per second at $59 per month. It's just what you need to kick off the school year. Details at ebox.ca.
Wow, you look amazing. Did you get work done?
No, but my house did. We fixed up the patio, got rid of the driveway weeds, and check out the beautiful new concrete coating on our balcony staircase.
I knew it. You hired Premier Sealers.
From asphalt and paving stone repair and maintenance to decorative coatings for concrete, they do it all. Anything pavement, anywhere on and off the island of Greater Montreal. Find out more at premiersealers.com. CAA recommended. Premiersealers.com. Seal you later.
Summertime and the living is easy, but somehow your appliances and furniture needing replacement haven't gotten the memo. You've got to be efficient if you want to baptize that tube of sunscreen at the pool instead of at the store. With Germain Lariviere's Search, Find, Receive sale, that product you want, Germain has it in inventory. You'll get it in no time. Sure, you'll have to pay, but that's not a problem when paying sounds like saving. Get down to a store today and live your dreams. Germain Larivière.
Until September 1st at Première Moisson, get the organic integral sourdough with Charlevoix wheat or the organic rustic loaf with Charlevoix spelt for only $4. Discover all our other breads crafted by our artisan bakers with flours made from 100% Quebec-grown grains. Première Moisson, truly authentic.
The Volkswagen Atlas has seating for up to 7 and the power to tow up to 5,000 pounds. Now, you just need a bigger boat. Lease the Atlas from just 1.99% for 24 months during the Volks Summer event. Visit your VW dealer before September 3rd.
Volkswagen.
Make Canada proud.
With every team in it to win it, the race around the country continues on Canada's #1 reality series.
Go!
A new episode of The Amazing Race Canada, Tuesday at 9/8 Central on CTV.
If it's making news, he's talking about it. Elias Makos, CJAD 800.
The government of Quebec has a rule that normally he addressed Quebecers in French, but he will say, "Oh, you want to fill that form in English? Are you a member of the English-speaking community?" And they will have some little question. But this is not about healthcare. We are not talking about healthcare or social service when we do that. It's an administration concern, and I think the English-speaking community were like afraid or aware about their rights to be served and to get services about healthcare. And it's important to reassure that nothing changed about that.
So that's Jean-François Roberge, the Minister of the French Language, trying to reassure CJAD 800 listeners on Friday about these new directives on the language of healthcare in Quebec. As he put it on our waves, this is about administrative stuff. This does not have to do with care. But those who have looked at the 31-page directive say the exact opposite and say, no, the directives and the examples put in the directives make it pretty clear that it affects the language of care in this province. Let's now go to Eric Duhem, the leader of the Conservative Party of Quebec. He's on the line to react to that. Eric, welcome back to the program.
Hi, Elias. Always a pleasure.
It really is a pleasure, and I will remind our listeners that you were the guy in the last provincial election. You did the press conference. I'll never forget this. You do a press conference with the number 96 for Bill 96 in a red circle with a red line through it. So, we're talking about these language directives as a result of Bill 96. I need to know your thoughts on the latest here.
First off, I'm really disappointed to see that the priority of those people is to write 31 pages of directives on the language of the people coming to have care. When you're going to the hospital, it's because you have a health problem. You don't have a linguistic problem. And to show your identity and your paper and your certificate to prove that you're one of those who have the privilege of being served in English is ridiculous. The idea behind it is completely ludicrous. And the same week that the government is doing that, What did we find out last week? We found out that 27% of Quebecers don't even have a family doctor. It's 9% more than when the CAQ arrived in power. Okay, so there's over 1 person out of 4 that is listening to us today that doesn't even have a family doctor, and their priority is to write 31 pages about who should have a right to be serviced in English in a hospital in Quebec. How disconnected are those people?
And I want to ask you this, and this is a pretty direct way of putting it here, but you heard Jean-François Roberge. The government is adamant, right? And they three ministers did an op-ed, right? An open letter that they published, right? When they say nothing is changing, if you've looked at the 31 pages of directives, right? Are they telling the truth that nothing has changed when it comes to care?
Well, I read the fact-checking done by the Gazette, and I was quite concerned. And I think that they have less interest than the government to promote the policy. So I'm going to believe the fact-checking that was done by the Gazette. And when you read the directive, it's not, if it's not true, and if nobody's going to be deprived of services and blah, blah, blah. So why do they need 31 pages to explain it? If it's that simple. I don't get it. I don't understand why. I understand politically why they're doing it, and we all understand why they're doing it, because they're trying to attract, their base that has gone to the Parti Québécois, and that's politics. You have to see behind it what's going on here. They're using, again, the Anglophone minority in Quebec as a political tool to make sure that the voters who used to support the CAQ, who are now with the Parti Québécois, come back home. That's the real policy that the CAQ is trying to drive right now. And they're using you as a scapegoat. And this is what is insane in that. And so the whole thing is all about gaining points for the next polls for the CAQ at the expense of the Parti Québécois and the PQ and the CAQ again. Just like during the last election campaign, they're trying to score points on bashing English Quebecers. And that needs to stop one day. And you know what, Elias, we're all responsible for that, not just the CAQ and the Parti Québécois, because the Anglophones in Quebec need to become politically, appealing. And we need, as parties, to make sure that it's not a red liberal stronghold that is never, ever going to change. And there needs to be some electoral competition within the English community if we want things to change. Because that's one of the weakest problems of the Anglophone community in Quebec right now, is that the Liberals take you for granted, they never listen to you, and the others are trying to score political points against you. So you're always losing on every single front when there's a political fight.
So I need to ask you, with Eric Duhan, leader of the Conservative Party of Quebec, why isn't it a consideration for you? Because you've got to try and get Francophone voters. Clearly parties, they're targeting Francophones over these issues. Why for you and your party? Everyone's got to play the game of politics. Why don't you play the same game when it comes to the language and healthcare?
We're conservative. Our slogan was free to choose. We do believe in freedom of choice. And, if an Anglophone wants to be serviced in English in Quebec, he has historic rights and he has total right to be serviced in English, and it's not time to play political games with them. And it would be insane to do that. And it goes with our whole philosophy, our political philosophy, where we try to make sure that individuals are more accountable, and we're sick and tired of the government using its coercion to control the population. So it goes with our political philosophy. So that's why we're we're against the government on that specific issue. And today, if we had win just 1 or 2 seats, imagine if the Conservatives in Quebec, if Bonnie Feigenbaum, for example, in Darcy McGee, or Axel Lelouch in Robert Baldwin, or any other ones who finished second, if one of them won an election, imagine now the Liberals would be fighting for you guys because they would be scared that the Conservatives would make more inroads in the West End of Montreal, and those people would be fighting also for your rights. But right now, because the perception is that there's no election in those constituencies, they've been red since the beginning of Confederation, and there's no political fights going on right there. So nobody's taking care, and that's the real problem we have. There's what the CAQ is doing, but it's also a reflection of the fact that politically there's no leverage for the English community right now in Quebec, and that needs to change. It's not normal. It's not sane that we have such an important population that has no political voice and power right now.
So, Eric, with that in mind, right, the Liberals are in the midst, or they're on the cusp, is probably the better way of putting it, of their own leadership race. And we've heard Denis Coderre, Pablo Rodriguez, Charles Milliard, all types of people may or may not be running, right? Yeah. Do you feel, and by the way, out of this weekend, right, we heard that they are now proposing, the party leadership is proposing a constitution for Quebec, right?
Yeah.
So do you feel that this moment of time, with the Liberals in flux, is your moment to pounce and try and make inroads with Anglos and with Montrealers in general?
Well, but politics, it could change overnight. Of course, it's constituencies that didn't change since 1867, so it's not going to happen overnight. But I'm going to talk to all Quebecers, and for me, my Quebec includes Anglophones. I mean, you've been there since the beginning. We've built Quebec together, and we have to build bridges between our communities. And I always find it sad that we're looking at each other from each other side of the fence. That needs to change, not just in politics, but in our society overall. And fortunately, there's a few good signs. Forget about political partisanship. Quebecers have never been as bilingual as they are right now, especially Anglophones in Quebec. We've never been that close at many points. There have never been so many marriages between Anglophones and Francophones. Like, all the indicators that our two communities are working more and more together, and that there's less and less friction socially and on the daily basis are there. So I think that one day it needs to be reflected at the political level as well.
Can I ask you, just to wrap up here, we'll wrap up where we started, right? Because in the last campaign, you campaigned with the number 96 with the circle with the line through it. The next time around, would you campaign on a platform of rolling it back to just Bill 101 that was before the recent changes of Bill 96? Would you platform on that?
Absolutely, because I think we had a bonne entente, if I could use a French word. I think there was no need to open that can of worm, and unfortunately that's where we are. But we're specifically going to campaign about the fact that our priority is not to deprive Anglophones of their rights in hospitals, is to make sure that all Quebecers, including Anglophones, have access to better services, and they don't wait as much as they do right now. That should be our priority. Not just ours, but everybody in Quebec. That should be the priority, and unfortunately, the government doesn't have that priority as we speak.
Eric, got to leave it there. We'll catch up, I imagine, several times in the fall. Take care.
Thank you so much. Au revoir.
That's Eric Duham, leader of the Quebec Conservative Party. When we return, going to be joined by Walter Assey from Renovco. He's going to give us an update about what he's been hearing, the calls he has been getting since the record amount of rain on Friday. Stay with us.
This newscast brought to you by Supermarché Acquevan in NDG and Pierrefonds. This week at Supermarché Acquevan, sweet peacock hammy melon for only $2.99. Check out the flyer for more specials.
Good morning, it's 11 o'clock. I'm Tom Whalen for Trudy Mason with your CTV News Update. Clouds and 16 degrees downtown as we head for a high of 23. Weather details in minutes. Here's what's making news. People across the province continue to wade through their basements following Friday's historic rain. Francis Scarpaleggia is the latest federal MP to weigh in on the language of healthcare in this province, and workers at the Queenie vote in favor of another strike mandate. With the latest from the CJAD 800 Traffic Center, here's Debbie Marcellos.
Highway 13 is still closed through the airport tunnel. So southbound, you're forced off at the Trans-Canada and northbound side at Côte de Liesse. Volume is a lot lighter. You're just losing a few minutes in that traffic, but the detour is going to cost you some time. Traffic on the eastbound Trans-Canada from Cavendish heavy into DeCarry and northbound DeCarry backing up from de la Vérendrye. So southbound 15 from de la Vérendrye down to Nuns Island to board the Champlain Bridge. We have quite a bit of volume there. The usual road work going on at Nuns Island on the 15 southbound, and traffic on the Trans-Canada heading westbound backing up from Boulevard des Anciens Combattants as you're down to one lane toward Vaudreuil for the morning commute. Eastbound side, they're closing that extra lane, and so traffic is backing into Vaudreuil now on the eastbound Trans-Canada. Shop Best Buy's Ultimate Smartphone Sale today. Get a Best Buy gift card of up to $200 on select phone activations with major carriers. Terms and conditions apply. Traffic and transit every 15 minutes on CJAD 800. Your next report at 11:15.
In the news, residents from one end of the island to the other are still dealing with cleanup from Friday's record-breaking rainfall. Flooded basements remain the most frequent problem. Some were inundated with groundwater that overwhelmed sump pumps, while others were forced to deal with sewer backups. Annick Van de Ven lives on Ile Bizard. She says she was up to her knees in water.
We've lived here for 20 years, and this kind of flooding has never happened.
That is a story being heard across the province. Quebec Public Security Minister François Bonnardel says dozens of municipalities were impacted by the historic rainfall. 3 declared a state of emergency. They were Chelsea, Louisville, and Lamacasa. Here in Montreal, blue-collar workers and firefighters have been on the job since Friday, cleaning up and pumping out basements. As we heard from Debbie on the traffic report, Highway 13 in the Dorval area remains completely closed due to flooding in the airport tunnel. Transport Quebec says the 13 is closed between Highway 40 and Côte-de-Liesse because of damage to a pumping station caused by sewer backups. Temporary pumps being brought in, but there's still no word on when the highway might reopen. Federal Liberal MP for the West Island Lac St. Louis riding, Francis Scarpellegia, says he is the latest federal MP to weigh in on the CAQ's language directives in the healthcare system. Speaking to CJAD 800's Andrew Carter this morning, Scarpellegia says his government would like to test Bill 96 in front of the Supreme Court, but that there is a process.
The first step is to ironically to get Bill 21 to the Supreme Court, because as you know, in both bills, Bill 21, the religious symbols law, and 96, the Quebec government invoked the notwithstanding clause, and it's been doing that far too casually. And our government believes that there should be restrictions on how it can be used, and so we're going to argue that at the Supreme Court.
Scarpellegia says the CAQ's language laws have been on the federal radar for quite some time, prompting discussion in both the House and in caucus. He says he's spoken to Federal Health Minister Mark Holland, who agreed that access to health care should not be limited on the basis of language. 600 unionized employees at the Queen Elizabeth Hotel have voted in favor of a new strike mandate. That move coming after workers used the last 3 days of their current strike mandate with surprise walkouts over the weekend. This latest mandate could pave the way to a general unlimited strike. The workers are looking for higher wages, but are also upset about lagging contracts talks. The hope is that the threat of a larger strike will urge employers back to the bargaining table. Internationally, the leaders of France, Germany, and Britain have all endorsed calls for a ceasefire in Gaza.
Leaders from the 3 European nations urged for the fighting in Gaza, which has seen a large loss of civilian life, to end immediately. In a joint statement, they also called for the return of hostages detained by Hamas and for the unfettered delivery and distribution of aid to Palestinians in Gaza. They endorsed the latest push by the United States, Qatar, and Egypt to broker an agreement between Israel and Hamas. It was signed by French President Emmanuel Macron, German Chancellor Olaf Scholz, and British Prime Minister Keir Starmer. I'm Karen Chamas.
For interviews and other audio, go to CJAD800.com or download the iHeartRadio app. Your Dormez-vous Weather Center forecast. Mainly cloudy with a chance of showers and maybe even an afternoon thunderstorm as well. Today's high 23. Partly cloudy with a chance of showers this evening, then clearing overnight with a low of 15. Tomorrow, sunny, breezy and 27, sunny and 29 on Wednesday. Right now, it's mostly cloudy, a little sun peeking through those clouds, and 16 degrees in downtown Montreal. For all the news during the day, stream us on your smart speaker. Just say play CJAD 800. Your next CTV News update at 11:30.
Summer is here. Celebrate with the Kia EV6 GT with 576 horsepower and does 0 to 100 in 3.6 seconds. Available now at Mega Kia Brassard with a price reduction and grant of $11,500.
Mega Kia Brassard. Travel better with Air Canada. You can enjoy free beer, wine, and premium snacks in economy class. Now extended to flights within Canada and the U.S. Cheers to taking off this summer. More details at aircanada.com.
Looking to create the exterior of your dreams? Then look no further than Pépinière Pierrefonds. Celebrating 60 years in business, Pépinière Pierrefonds is your premier destination for all your gardening and landscaping needs, offering quality products that will transform your outdoor space, like Teco Block, North America's leading manufacturer of paving stones. From pavers and patio slabs to retaining walls and fire pits, they have it all. Embrace your creativity with Teco Block. Available at Pépinière Pierrefonds in Pierrefonds and Saint Laurent. PépinièrePierrefonds.com.
If it's making news, he's talking about it. Elias Mackos, CJAD 800.
Shout out to Sheila and Hudson, who just sent in some very kind words for the team here at CJAD 800. You know, it's funny. I take 9 weeks off, do a parental leave. I'm back last week, first time back in a long time. And of course, what happens? I end up working an extra day, pressed into duty for Saturday. And Sheila, your very kind words about those that came in and did some extra duty on Saturday. Of course, it was on Saturday in the aftermath of what happened on Friday. You know, Joanne Brackus on air at 6 o'clock. We went straight through, of course, the Home Improvement Show, which airs on Saturday mornings. And then I came in at 10 o'clock to do some extra programming as you were faring with, you know, sometimes that worst case scenario in your basement, right? With that in mind, it was on Saturday morning that I got to bump into Walter Assey, our next guest, the president of Renovco, because he was doing the Home Improvement Show and taking so many calls from you. And after he was done with his hour, we were speaking, and Walter, I'll welcome you onto the show right now. Walter, welcome back to the show.
Oh, thank you, Elias.
And I remember you telling me that you've never seen the amount of calls you received. Why don't you give me the update from Saturday to today with what you've seen?
So, I mean, I've been doing this about 30 years. So I've been through the ice storm. I've been through the 17 floods, the 19 floods, any possible catastrophe in the last 30 years. I've been there in the forefront. The sheer volume is really, I can't even compare it to any event for that matter. We surpassed the 2,000 calls mark, I think, yesterday. So, and they're still coming in nonstop. The more particular thing about the storm is it's really all over the map. You're talking anywhere from the North Shore to the South Shore, extreme east to west. It's everywhere. Before, we used to have things a bit more localized, like the 17 flood, the city where the water bodies were close to water, what have you. But now it's really everywhere. Everywhere, from sewer backups to some pump failures to some pump not keeping up. A lot of the clients that we're seeing, the homeowners, they've done almost everything right. I mean, they've installed 2 sump pumps. They have backwater valves. They did everything that technically should be done, and they still somehow got flooded.
So, Walter, with that in mind, you've done everything right, and you still get flooded, and it's Monday. You've been on the phone over the weekend trying to get through to companies who are overwhelmed. Everyone's overwhelmed. What's your message to a homeowner who's had to do it on their own all weekend, still trying to get through? What should someone's focus be if they're still dealing with the aftermath of Friday?
Safety. The most important thing is safety. I go to a lot of homeowners. I'm seeing them, doing the demolitions or the cleanup themselves. They have no mask. They have no gloves. They don't have safety glasses on. Remember, this is contaminated water, so you cannot breathe that for a long time. You have to have P120 mask while you're working. Work safely. Work within your capacity. I mean, I'm seeing older people. They have health problem. I seen a client yesterday. She has COPD. She's working herself. Nothing is worth it. Your health is worth a lot more than that. So just be careful. Kind of time yourself. Do not overexert yourself, and eventually help will come. Right? If you can't do it, you can't do it. Eventually, help will come somehow. I mean, the idea behind it is get things that are wet out as fast as possible. I was with Andrew Carter this morning, and I was saying a lot of people are scared to do things because they couldn't reach the insurance. I just want to clarify this point, Elias, because in most cases they're not doing themselves a favor, and explain why. The problem with sewer backups and overland water is the vast majority of policies have limitations on that. So you're not insured like a normal, in most cases, you're not insured like a normal water damage from a roof or what have you. So what's happening is the more you're waiting, the more the damage gets aggravated. So if you have a $20,000 limitation, most often than not, it's not nearly enough to what you've lost in contents, because you've lost furniture, you've lost electronics, you've lost a freezer, you've lost a furnace, and so on and so forth. So you're going to pass that. So chances are the insurance company is going to come, they're going to take a quick look, and they're going to just cash you out because they know that, okay, look, between the demolition, the reconstruction, the content, we're going to surpass that point. But you're going to be stuck with all the aggravated damages, the mold. Right now, if you had 3 inches of water in your basement, you might get away with cutting your drywall at 2 feet. But, you do it in a week, you need to go at 4 feet. You do it a bit later, it's going to be all the walls. So that's going to cost you more money in the reconstruction. So we have to be very careful from that. The other thing is the type of products you're using to disinfect. Stay away from Javel. I don't know who gave the idea that Javel is good. What you want to use is products that cater to mold, like Benefect, like Foster, Cognorium, these type of mold control. These are the right products to use in a situation like that. Nothing, if you don't research it and back it up, don't do it, because you're probably not going to do yourself a favor in the process. Something else that is very important, and I want to caution everyone, we're going to homeowners that have had 2, 3, 4 feet of water in their basement, and they had hot water tanks down there, and they're still taking showers. That hot water tank is contaminated now. The water in it is contaminated. The hot water tank itself have insulation. When the insulation gets wet, that hot water tank is no good anymore.
Oh, boy.
Okay? So be careful. If you can call a plumber and change your hot water in the case where you had a lot of water. So it has to pass the benchmark of really the threshold of the insulation cap. You see 4 screws at the bottom. If the water reach anywhere close to that, then you know that your hot water tank is no good.
And Walter, before I have to wrap up here, just on the people that are doing it on their own, whether it's because the policy doesn't cover, they haven't been able to reach some and that kind of thing, on what needs to be thrown out. Do you find sometimes people trying to save things that they should not be trying to save?
Yes. And believe it or not, sometimes it's things with no real value. Like anything that, needless to say, anything that is perishable, that's no good. Anything that is not sealed is no good. Anything that is porous or fabricy that was floating in water is no good. Like carpets, for example, throw carpets, especially the ones that have not a lot of value. It's going to cost you more to clean it than to keep it. And the humidity that's going to come out of it, keeping it in your basement, is going to create you mold like you'd never believe. So nothing good is going to come out of that. Clothes, fabrics, mattresses, pillows, these are things that I would not keep if they were floating in water, especially if it's sewer water for that matter.
Well, Walter, listen, we have to leave it there. I know it has been a busy time, not just on Friday, but before that in the Montreal area. So thank you so much for coming on the program, and we'll catch you again real soon.
Always a pleasure.
President at Renovco, that's Walter Assey right there. When we return on the Elias Macco Show, going to be joined by a city councilor, and we're going to talk about the trash that has been piling up in Hochelaga-Maisonneuve. They switched the pickup schedule only every 2 weeks in some parts of that borough. It is not going well. We'll try and find out how we'll deal with that situation in just a few moments. We do traffic right here, 11:17. Here's Debbie Marcellos.
Well, we have only one lane now on the Illitor Bridge in each direction. They've reduced you down to one lane on the eastbound side after the morning commute, where you had 2 lanes. So traffic does back into Vaudreuil now on the eastbound side. Westbound side is still backing up from before Boulevard des Anciens Combattants. You don't have that second lane just yet. Northbound to Cary, slowing from Turcotte up to the Metropolitan. 13 northbound is a write-off with the complete closure of the airport tunnel because of flooding. The pumping station failed and they're trying to fix it, but it's still closed on the 13 in both directions through the airport tunnel. And southbound 15 heading to the Champlain Bridge, backing up from almost Turcotte. It's through to Nuns Island where there's roadwork going on. Charge ahead with the all-electric Chevrolet Equinox EV, a vehicle you know, value you'd expect, and a dealer right down the street. Ready to go EV? Chevrolet's got you. Let us know what you see on the roads. Call in your tips to Star 800. Your next report at 11:30.
You deserve a home that makes you proud, inside and out. With 25% off Seco exterior paints and stains until August 21st, you can protect your home, rain or shine. Find a retailer near you at seco.ca. Seco, see color.
When the time comes to choose a new Toyota, never compromise on quality. Buy or lease your new Toyota at Spinelli Toyota.
It's time to Toyota at Spinelli Toyota. Drive off in the 2024 BZ4X LE starting at $118 per week on a 48-month lease at 4.99% with $0 down payment. A trendy choice for $37,442, including government rebates of $12,000 and $3,500 in incentives.
Spinelli Toyota, the address of choice for all automotive services in Lachine.
By insuring your home and car with Desjardins Insurance, you can save up to 15% on your home premium. Now that's worthy of your attention. Kinda like Mr. Whiskers. Get an online quote. Conditions and limitations apply.
Now this is a vacuum. The Miele Triflex HX1. Get the unmatched quality and power of a Miele in the convenience of a cordless stick vac. Powerful, light, flexible 3-in-1 design with HEPA filter and easy empty dust cup. Try one today at VacuPro Plaza Point Claire. VacuPro.ca.
Looking for the perfect outdoor landscaping? Laniel Protomex has what you need. For over 65 years, Laniel Protomex has been offering a diverse range of quality products for your outdoor needs. Discover Teco Block products, a leader in North America, including pavers, slabs, wall caps, and outdoor fireplaces. Teco Block meets all your landscaping needs. Unleash your creativity. Visit lanielprotomex.com.
Sledgehammer in hand, he couldn't wait to get started on those renos. But maybe here goes nothing.
What are you? No!
Protect your stuff by storing it at the Podium Mini Entrepot. Try 4 weeks free. Rent now before it's too late.
Longing for thick, healthy, gorgeous hair? Hair Volume from New Nordic is trusted by millions of women around the world. With clinically proven ingredients like apple extract, biotin, and millet, Hair Volume nourishes your hair follicles to promote thicker, healthier-looking hair. Say goodbye to shedding, thin, and dull hair, and hello to thick, healthy hair with Hair Volume. Available as a tablet or gummy, Hair Volume is available at Shoppers Drug Mart, Walmart, Loblaws, and London Drugs, or ask for it at your local pharmacy, or online at Amazon and newnordic.ca.
I'm Bridget Federley, president of Canaan Federley Funeral Home, where we offer a full range of services tailored to your wishes, and we guide you every step of the way. When you choose Canaan Federley, you're choosing a dedicated team of professionals truly sensitive to your needs.
In life's toughest moments, you deserve a trusted partner. We've been that beacon of comfort for families in times of need since 1965. Call us at 514-481-5301 or visit canefederley.com.
Hey Nissan, tell me about the 2024 Kicks.
Where do I start, Corinne?
The features.
Okay, it's got dynamic driving, impressive fuel efficiency, plenty of cargo space, and optional premium Bose sound system.
Oh, someone's off to a flying start.
Plus, you can lease the 2024 Nissan Kicks S starting at $266 a month for 24 months during the Go Nissan sales event.
That's like $61 a week. Where do I start?
I'd say a test drive. Until September 3rd, $1,895 down, retail value of $25,197. Conditions apply on approved credit. Details at Nissan.
Montrealers have always trusted CTV to bring them the biggest news stories. I'm Maya Johnson. Our 5 p.m. newscast delivers more local reports, keeping you connected to what's happening in our community.
CTV News with Maya Johnson, weeknights from 5 to 5:30.
Metropolitan Rust Proofing. Save $20 off their complete rust proofing treatment. Hurry, this offer ends soon. Metropolitan Rust Proofing, a smart investment that really pays.
Getting you the facts, asking the tough questions. The Elias Macco Show. CJAD 800.
How often does your trash get picked up? Now, I know for some of you out there, maybe your trash only gets picked up every 2 weeks. And I know that's the case for a lot of people maybe who live off island. They've got larger properties. They've got big trash cans. And I think you can get by in some areas. But, if you live in a densely populated area and you've got a tinier apartment, you're not going to keep your trash in your place for 2 weeks. And lo and behold, there have been some parts of the city where they have been trying out once every 2 week garbage pickup. Now, residents in Mercier, Hochelaga, Maisonneuve, they're upset over that type of switch, reducing garbage collection to every 2 weeks. In studio right now from Ensemble Montréal, Councillor Alba Zuniga-Ramos joins us on the program. She's not happy about the switch either. Hi, Alba. Welcome to I can call you Alba, right?
Of course.
So welcome to the show and welcome to studio.
Thank you so much for having me.
So, in your borough, Mercier, Hochelaga, Maisonneuve, right? What is it the whole territory now? What's happening here for our listeners when it comes to trash pickup?
So, there is a change that has been happening for the past couple of years, where the garbage is being picked up once every 2 weeks. And obviously, we understand that this is something that is necessary. I think we all need to work to improve the quality of our environment. We all need to recycle more. We know. So we agree with the idea. Is the way the idea has been implemented that we disagree with. And we're not the only ones to disagree with this. We have citizens in the area that are so mad with this situation that even went 2 weeks ago and left their garbage bags in front of the mayor's office because unfortunately they cannot take it anymore. It's not something that I condemn, but at the same time I can understand why people are upset. I encourage people like the mayor to go to my area and see how things are working, and if that's the green city that she likes, well, I think that most Montrealers disagree with that city.
Okay, so what are people seeing? And I saw those photos of the garbage that was brought to the mayor's office and dumped right in front. But on the streets, right? What are people seeing now because of this switch?
Well, I have pictures from citizens. I have videos, and me myself, I had to take a video last week because there was a big pile of garbage that was just like becoming bigger and bigger by the week. I called 311. I did my job as a city councillor. Nothing was happening, and I don't believe that this is the type of neighborhood that my citizens deserve. I think that people pay taxes. I think that people work really hard and they deserve to have a clean environment. So I had to do what I didn't want to do, but I had to do it. I had to post that video online on Twitter and show to people that this is not what citizens deserve. Surprisingly enough, it's not a big surprise, but a day and a half after, everything was gone. And I took a video after, and you can see the big difference. But it shouldn't be like that, It shouldn't be my job to go around taking videos of the garbage in the city because the administration isn't capable of having a place that is clean for the citizens.
I've done that too. It was on recycling for me where I had to go to Twitter, post the photos and videos, and then the recycling finally got picked up. But I wanted to pick up on something you said off the top here, which you're like, that it seems like you are in agreement long term where we end up with once every 2 week garbage collection. So the idea for you is it's the implementation here. So let's get into that, because if you believe, if you're in agreement with Projet Montréal, it should be down to once every 2 weeks. That to me is interesting that you agree with the idea.
It has been done in other areas, like in Saint Laurent, it has been done, and it has been done properly. And what we requested for the administration to do for Projet Montréal is to not implement the measure during the summer, because it's during the summer from June to September that we realized that we had a lot of problems. And when we talk about problems, I want to be very visual. Rats, insects, that noise of like insects everywhere, which shouldn't happen in Canada, in Montreal in 2024. That's something that we did not want to see, and that's why we requested the administration to, yes, implement the measure, but to do it in a smart way, to do it taking into consideration people's needs and the needs of the area, which is an area that historically, unfortunately, has been affected by that type of issue. But that was not the case. It's an administration that has a hard time listening to logic sometimes.
We are with Alba Zuniga-Ramos, City Councillor for the Louis Riel District of Mercier, Hochelaga, Maisonneuve. We're talking about trash pickup here. So in your mind, long term, you could foresee summertime, the hot summer months, June, July, August, you're picking up every week, and then The cooler months of the year, you pick up every 2 weeks. That's what you would foresee happening?
Well, this is something that citizens told us because there was a pilot project that was done prior to the implementation of this measure everywhere in the borough. And this is something that the citizen told us, that they have a harder time dealing with their garbage during the summer times. And obviously, if you have a house and you're 2 people, you produce less garbage than if you have a house like the ones I have in my area where you have 6, 7 people living in one house. So it's not one size fits all, and this is something that we mentioned to the administration. And we were made fun of last summer when we mentioned these things. And one of the things that we said to all the mayors from Projet Montréal, if you like this measure so much, why don't you implement it in your areas the same way that Pierre Lesarblay is doing it in our area? And so far, nobody has done it. Maybe it is because it's not working and they don't want to bring all that garbage to their area and have all those complaints. That's my question today, and I'm asking, and I've been asking the mayor, come to my area and I will show you the piles of garbage. So we can take pictures, we can take videos together.
So now I gotta ask you this, and by the way, I got a text message from a listener who writes, Elias, I live in Hochelaga-Maisonneuve. Yes, the garbage is out of control. Every 2 weeks it's out of control with the amount of garbage. I've emailed the mayor, no response on this subject. So in my mind, I love politics. I would be considering this if I'm you. I'm like, this is a gift. We're 1 year away from a municipal election. So I think for Ensemble Montréal, decisions like this by Projet Montréal that they've been very successful politically over the last 8 years. Isn't this a gift for you, pointing out mistakes like this that Projet Montréal has been making?
For me, the important thing is the quality of life of my citizens. And obviously, if I see that my citizens are not having what they need to be able to be in an environment that is clean, I'm going to do what I have to do to fight for them. And I think that that's what citizens want. They don't really need politicians fighting. What they want is for their rights to be respected, their environment to be clean. We need to go back to the basics, and that's in Montreal. If you go not only to Hochelaga, but if you go around the city and you look at the city, you wonder, does the mayor ever walk in Montreal? Does she realize how dirty Montreal is? Because the city is not clean. Cleanliness is not a priority for this administration, and I do believe that for the next administration, that's what's going to have to happen. We have to go back to the basics. We have to offer Montrealers what they need at the basics.
Hey, sounds like a political message that a lot of people can get behind, right? Back to basics, pick up the trash, clear the snow, do those basics, and enough of pet projects, perhaps, with certain administrations. Alba, we have to leave it there. I want to thank you for coming in.
Thank you so much for having me.
That's Alba Zuniga-Ramos, the city councillor for Louis Riel in Mercier-Hochelaga-Maisonneuve. Now, when we return on the Elias Macco Show, going to be joined by Jeff Facero, former pitcher for the Montreal Expos. He was on that team in 1994 that had the best record in baseball. Of course, 30 years ago today, the players' strike began that dashed the hopes of that season. That's coming up next.
Don't miss the new season of HBO's House of the Dragon, the global phenomenon critics call endlessly captivating. Stream House of the Dragon now, only on Crave. Subscribe at crave.ca.
Good morning, it's 11:31. I'm Jason Mayoff for the CTV News Update. Here's what's making news right now. Insurance and renovation experts say essential flood mitigation should happen before you file your insurance claim, but be sure to keep your receipts. Contractors and insurance companies are being overwhelmed by the amount of requests for help after Friday's storm. West Island MP Francis Scarpaleggia says the Legault government has gone too far with their latest language directives in the healthcare system. He also says the CAQ reaction to him and his federal colleagues rings hollow. And they've only agreed to one, but Donald Trump says on his Truth Social media site he will debate Kamala Harris 3 times. Harris has agreed to only one debate on ABC on September 10th. For more news, including a look back at the Expos' tragic 1994 season 30 years later, go to ctvnewsmontreal.ca. With the latest from the CJAD 800 Traffic Center, here's Debbie Marcellos.
We're down to one lane in each direction at the Illitor Bridge. In from Vaudreuil, it's backing up from the St. Charles Avenue entrance, for the first car dealership, and traffic on the westbound side backs up from almost Morgan. We're waiting for them to open that second lane for the afternoon commute toward Vaudreuil. On Highway 13, it's completely closed in the airport tunnel, and so southbound side, you're forced off of the 13 at the Trans-Canada, and northbound side at Côte de Liesse. Eastbound Trans-Canada slows from Cavendish into Décarie. Northbound Décarie backing up from Turcotte. It's heavy up to the Metropolitan. 15 southbound for the Champlain Bridge is from Turcotte as well, with roadwork at Nuns Island. Go back to school with affordable internet from Virgin Plus starting from $39 a month. Visit virginplus.ca for details. Traffic and transit every 15 minutes on CJAD 800. Your next report at 11:45.
Your Dormevu Weather Center forecast, mainly cloudy with a chance of showers or a thunderstorm this afternoon. The high 23, the humidex 27. Partly cloudy with a chance of showers early this evening and then clearing, the low 15. And sunshine tomorrow, the high 27, the humidex 33. It's 17 downtown. Your next CTV News update is at noon.
Getting you the facts, asking the tough questions. The Elias Macko Show, CJAD 800.
Oh, it's Gut Punch Day on the Elias Macko Show. Today is the 30th anniversary of one of the darkest days ever for Montreal sports fans. It was on August 12th, 1994, that the Major League Baseball players' strike began, and with it, the hopes of Expos fans were dashed as the season was eventually canceled. When we return, we're going to reminisce on that great team with former Montreal Expos pitcher Jeff Facero.
News Talk Radio, CJAD 800. We go where you go.
On iHeartRadio.
Updates and analysis, opinion and commentary.
The latest audio and top podcasts.
Plus.
Browse curated playlists like Songs of the Summer 2024.
News Talk Radio, CJAD 800.
Take us everywhere. Easy and free.
On iHeartRadio.
At Toyota, we understand that life's full of winning moments, like putting together this armchair easily with no leftover parts. Yacht! That means, well done. We design our award-winning vehicles with your needs in mind, so you can actually return your armchair, because that shade of yellow with those purple curtains, they kinda clash. It's time for everyday wins. It's time to Toyota. Until September 3rd, receive a $3,500 manufacturer incentive on the BZ4X, in addition to government rebates of up to $12,000.
Hi, I'm Dan, a sleep expert from Dormevu, here to transform your bedroom to a sleep oasis with a lifestyle adjustable bed. Designed with massage features, underbed lighting, USB ports, and more, you and your partner can customize your head and feet positions for your best sleep. Experience the ultimate luxury and comfort. Buy any lifestyle adjustable bed and get up to $1,769 back in a Dormevu promo card. For a limited time, see in-store or online for details.
Maybe you don't want to think about back to school just yet, but it is right around the corner. Bouncy Bon can help make that time less stressful and way more delicious with their homemade meals that the whole family will love. We're talking restaurant quality meals made with the best ingredients. No subscription, no contract, and so no pressure to place an order each week. It's whatever works for you. So at busier times, like back to school, know that Bouncy Bon is there to help, there to make life easier. BouncyBon.com.
If you work in construction, listen carefully to the following message. That is the sound you could be hearing for the rest of your life, because the noise on your construction site could leave you practically deaf. Employers and workers, let's apply noise reduction measures and protect our hearing. A message from the CNESST.
Here's what drinking kale juice from a $1.49 IKEA Pokal glass sounds like.
Ew.
And here's what drinking kale juice from a 99-cent IKEA Pokal glass sounds like.
Ew.
Did you hear the difference? One's 50 cents less.
Same great products, new lower prices. IKEA. Shop new lower prices on over 400 kitchen items today.
Why would you drink kale?
Summer is here, marking Kia's 25th anniversary in Canada. Celebrate with an SUV such as the Kia Sportage, the Kia Sorento, or the Kia Telluride. All available now at Mega Kia Brossard.
Mega Kia Brossard. So why don't you?
Finish Grand Slam season with a grand finale.
This is the kind of tennis that you expect.
The U.S. Open, August 26th to September 8th, only on TSN.
We knew this team had it all, was no doubt in us. Instead we got robbed, the scene of champagne pop. The stream is dropped and the whole town come to a stop. Maybe they'd have been around a few more years, and maybe we'd have all shed a few less tears. We could have had it all, we could have seen October ball. We could have hung a banner on the right field wall. Maybe we'd have seen no some more stand tall. If 94 summer turned to fall, we could have had it all. We could have seen
a little bit of 94 Fall by Anakin Slade. Boy, if you want to reminisce about the summer of 1994, go check out that video on YouTube as it just paints a beautiful, beautiful story of that 1994 team. But I did mention a few moments ago on how it's Gut Punch Day on the Elias Mackos Show, because thinking about what happened 30 years ago today, when the players' strike began, that led to the cancellation of the 1994 Major League Baseball season as the Expos were on top, it certainly is a gut punch to me because I was a little kid and boy, I loved my Montreal Expos. It's a real great pleasure to welcome Jeff Facero onto the program. Pitched on that 1994 team, pitched for the Expos for 6 seasons. Jeff, welcome to the program.
Thank you. Nice to be here.
So listen, gut punch for me as a little kid, right? How about for you and the rest of your teammates? How do you think back to 94 and what happened?
For us, it's a major gut punch. I mean, everything we heard about what was going to happen in the strike, none of it came to fruition. You know, they said we'd go out and should be back within 10 days and complete the season. Well, the owners had a different plan on that part of it. They wanted to get more control, and it ended up killing us.
When you played in Major League Baseball, 16 seasons in the major leagues. When you look back at your career and that 94 team, where does it rank? What do you think about when you think about the 94 Expos?
That team probably ranks number one of all the teams I played for that had best opportunity, best chance to win the division and the World Series.
What made it so special? Why did everything work for the 94 Expos?
As we had so much talent on the field and so young. I was the oldest guy on the team. I think I was 31 in 94.
Yeah.
That sounds about right. Yeah, somewhere around there. Yeah, so you look at it and you look at all the talent. I mean, you look at all the guys that were there that ended up leaving and going to other teams and having great careers there. I mean, we had 2 Hall of Famers come off that team with Pedro and Larry.
Yeah.
I think that's it, just those 2.
Well, it's just so much in life, Jeff, is about confidence. So when you were on the mound and you had that squad behind you and in front of you as well, tell me about that. How did that feel to be pitching with that lineup behind you?
Well, it made it easy because once we kind of got off to a slow start, but once we started winning, we went to the ballpark every day knowing that we were going to win that night. Even if we didn't, we knew we were going to. It didn't matter. If we lost the game, we came back the next day knowing we were going to bounce back and win. I mean, the confidence in the clubhouse was unbelievable. I mean, everybody got along. It was the most cohesive team I was on. I mean, so I don't know if it's because, nobody's from Montreal per se. I mean, you had Larry from Canada, but we all just got together because we were it for us. But I mean, going to the stadium and having the fans treat us the way they did that year was outstanding also.
And you rightfully mentioned, it wasn't like the season started, it was hot out of the gate. It took some time. Do you reflect on a moment or a week or a game where the team realized, oh my God, we are as good as we think we are, where just everything started to click?
I don't know if it was a moment, or you know how you say there's sometimes you don't want to talk about your competitors and where you stand?
Yeah.
I can recall, I think it was right around May 4th or 5th, where we were about 6 games behind Atlanta. And there was an interview with John Smoltz, and, you know, he came out and said that this is going to just be another one in a row for us, whatever number they were on, 5, 6 in a row, division championships. And I think it rubbed a lot of us wrong because we hadn't played, I don't think we'd played them yet that year. And, you know, we were in the spring training together with them all the time. So there was like no intimidation factor for them. And I just think like for us, it was just like, you know, there was expectations and we all knew we weren't playing up to standards. And all of a sudden, somewhere around that time, the 7th, 8th of May, we just clicked and took off.
We're with Jeff Facero, former pitcher for the Montreal Expos, talking about the 1994 edition of the Expos that Jeff was a part of that ended, you know, the season ended 30 years ago today with the beginning of the strike, and the Expos had the best record in baseball. Jeff, let's talk a bit about Felipe Alou, the manager of the Expos, and his role. How was it? You know, you mentioned you were like the oldest guy on the team, so a young squad with Felipe at the helm. Tell me about that.
Yeah, I mean, like, Felipe had been around baseball his whole life. And, you know, he'd won, he might even won a World Series, I don't remember for sure, but he had won and stuff and knew how to do it. And I'm sure he learned from managers that he had. He just let us go out and play baseball. You know, he'd write up the lineup. He made the moves that were necessary when we needed them. But, you know, he let us have our clubhouse to ourselves for the most part. There was never any big sit-down talks, chats, or anything like that. You know, he just let us go out and play baseball, and that was the best thing about it. I mean, I had one other manager that was really like that, too, and that was Lou Piniella. He let the players run the clubhouse, and, you know, if there needed to be something said, they would come out and say it. But for the most part, you know, it was like, you guys are in charge of being on the field, so I'll make the moves I need to make during a game, and they did that. And that's what made Felipe such a good manager at the time, especially with a young team. I mean, he could have overmanaged a young team and did it, but he didn't. He just let us play baseball.
Jeff, you mentioned the fans in one of your answers about the fans coming to Olympic Stadium in that 1994 year. Of course, for those fans, they had the heartbreak of that season. 10 years later, they lose. We lose the team as the team moves to Washington. How does it feel for you? Because, you know, other players that played, 16 years in the bigs and had a season like you did in 94, they get to go back to that city every now and again and have an old timers day at the ballpark and that kind of stuff. How does it feel for you that, there's no more team in Montreal and maybe you don't get those opportunities to reminisce that you would if that season happens and the team's still here?
No, I mean, you don't. If the team was still there, there'd probably be we'd be brought back a lot more than we have been. I mean, this year, Perry, through his foundation, brought back, I think there was a total of like 16 guys. Well, not counting Felipe and Kerrigan and stuff that came back from that 94 team. And it's great to see them because there's a lot of the guys I hadn't seen in a long time. And it was awesome to get a chance to see them and reconnect with some of these guys. And I wish, you did mention like other teams get to go to their cities. Talking to a few guys here in town that baseball players that just were at LA or back in Boston for one of their like organizational type things. It is disappointing. I mean, the Nationals want no part of what happened, I'm assuming, with us. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So there would be no, like, we're going to bring back the Expo 94 team to Washington. Well,
do you hope a team comes back to Montreal one day to have those moments?
Yes, I wish I would get a team back. I don't they moved that team out of Montreal because they were saying there's a lack of support and couldn't afford it and couldn't fund it. I mean, I look at the support in Tampa. They don't support that team. They get to keep them there. So, I don't know. Either that, you move a team like that there, or if expansion, I think Montreal is a city that should have a baseball team.
Jeff,
I think they would have a natural right. I mean, if you move Tampa in my thoughts, if you move Tampa up to Montreal, they'd have a natural rival Toronto now because they'd be in the same division.
Yeah, then that would be fun to have that Toronto-Montreal rivalry. Now, Jeff, listen, I gotta let you go. We're out of time here, but I do want to ask you one thing. Yeah. Number 13. Baseball players are the most superstitious bunch out there. How'd you end up with number 13?
Well, you know, left-handed, 13. I don't know. It started in high school. I mean, usually it was the easiest number to get. Anywhere you went was the easiest number to get. So,
that's true.
So it was easy to get it, and it didn't bother me to have it on my back.
Well, Jeff, for the people like me that were fans that year as kids, watching you guys just crush everyone, I want to thank you so much for coming on the show this morning. And we are thinking about that 94 edition. Thanks so much.
You're welcome.
Jeff,
talk to you.
Nice talking to you, Jeff. That's Jeff Facero, former pitcher for the Montreal Expos. Let's get you over to traffic here. It is 11:48, and here's a check-in on the roads with Lauren Glazer. Guy I know. Maybe this is gut punch day for you, Lauren, with the Expos.
Very much so. That and back in 2004 when we lost the team, 100% is definitely very tough on me and a lot of people.
Indeed.
Good morning, Elias.
Good morning. Yeah, traffic time. From there to traffic.
Yeah, do keep in mind both sides of Autoroute 13 closed between the T-Can and Côte-de-Liesse, making things kind of difficult for southbound 13 and northbound 13. The south side of the Autoroute heavy from the Bisson Bridge at this point. Northbound side has delays starting at Hickmore. Southbound Laurentian also very difficult drive at this point, starting Saint-Anne-des-Lacs all the way out to St. Jerome. We do have a truck that lost its load in St. Jerome. Left lane is only open through the area. Very heavy at this point. So if you can, try to hop onto the 117. For the westbound side of the Met, delays Lackady out to DeCarry. For the westbound side of the T-Can, it does have delays Morgan out to the Latour Bridge. Eastbound T-Can volume as well, Avenue St. Charles to the Latour again between Cavendish and the DeCarry interchange. For the westbound side of the 20, it's also difficult between Ongrenio and Ville St. Pierre. Canadian Tire, in support of Jumpstart, you donate, they play. All funds help families overcome financial barriers to sport and play. Donate at jumpstart.canadiantire.ca. Let us know what you see on the roads. Call in your tips to star 800. Your next report at noon.
Thanks so much, Lauren. Coming up next on the Elias Macos Show, it is official. Costco's biggest crackdown yet on non-members is going across the country. We'll tell you all about it. I also want to tell you about the CJAD 800 Caring for Kids Radiothon, which returns on August 22nd in support of the Montreal Children's Hospital Foundation. Now, we know kids get hurt and kids get sick, and you can help them get better. Dormez-vous joins us once again for their 15th year as our phone bank sponsor to help this great cause. Sleep well, stay well, thanks to Dormez-vous, and feel great knowing you're helping sick children right here in Quebec. All from your News Talk Radio, CJAD 800.
Montreal's home for live sports and sports talk. TSN 690.
Right at Coronel Soignier! The ball is up, he makes the grab! Touchdown, Montreal!
When you need to know, when you need to get it off your chest.
Let's see how he does, and do you build around that? Because he can solve a lot of problems for you if he stays healthy and does something.
Montreal's Major League Sports Talk lives on TSN 690.
Ford employee pricing is on now. And who better to tell you about it than my friend Mike here, a real Ford employee.
You pay what we pay on a new Ford. Sorry, I'm just excited.
That's okay. Keep going.
You can get my price on a new F-150, Bronco Family, Mach-E, and more.
Try a little less excited.
Like this? What's not to love?
Ooh, nailed it. Right now, get Ford employee pricing on virtually all 2024 Ford vehicles. For details, visit your Quebec Ford store or Ford.ca.
So many Quebecers suffer from back pain, which, when left untreated, can result in a loss of quality of life. The Quebec Chiropractors Association invites you to learn more. Visit chiropractic.com for more information about the practice. You can find tips and advice for daily activities and where you can find the chiropractor closest to you. Be well informed, prevent injuries, live your life to the fullest. Pain changes everything. Chiropractic care changes pain.
I am loving this spa. So glad we can afford this. And just before school starts, no less. Just melts the stress away. Hey,
Did you fall asleep? Oh, okay. Couldn't tell with cucumbers covering your eyes.
eBox, it's so relaxing for your piggy bank. 100% fiber internet, 1 gigabyte per second at $59 per month. It's just what you need to kick off the school year. Details at ebox.ca.
Hey Montreal, Curtis Killen from KBD Insurance here. For over 40 years, we've been your trusted local broker for home, car, and business insurance. We're excited to launch our referral program where you and a friend have the chance to win up to $500. Here's how it works. Step 1. If you're a current client, refer a friend. Step 2. Each quarter, we hold a draw where you can win big. Visit the homepage of kbdinsurance.com for more details. KBD. Buying insurance sucks. We make it suck less.
Does your sweet tooth sometimes derail your otherwise healthy diet choices? Zucrin by New Nordic uses natural mulberry leaf extract to help support healthy blood sugar levels. Mulberry leaf has been used for centuries in Asia to help limit sugar intake. So if sugar cravings are impacting your weight management, then try Zucrin. Zucrin is a great complement to your healthy lifestyle and a secret weapon for keeping sugar under control. Zucrin is available at Shoppers Drug Mart, Loblaws, Jean Coutu, or Superstore, or find it online at Amazon or newnordic.ca.
Right now, when you buy a Silverado, you get the same price as Chevrolet employees. You don't even have to come into the office tomorrow or the day after tomorrow. You can enjoy the High Country's leather seats or the ZR2's off-road front bumper, and we won't even expect to see you at our Chevrolet office party. So choose a Silverado, and we won't see you at the office tomorrow. During the employee pricing event, get a purchase or lease credit of up to $10,500 on selected 2024 Silverado 1500 and HD models. Conditions apply. Details at ChevroletOffers.ca.
At Dormez-vous, we know that it takes these for your child to get A's and B's in school. If music class sounds like this, a little more of this can turn into this. When your child sleeps deeper, they dream bigger. Add sleep essentials like a mattress, sheets, and pillows to your back-to-school list and help your child get the sleep they need to succeed this school year. Find them all at Dormez-vous.
American Ninja Warrior is back. Yes! New ninjas. Oh my goodness! New obstacles. Here we go. New episodes. Everything you got. A new American Ninja Warrior. Tonight at 8 on CTV.
This is the Elias Macco Show on CJAD 800.
All right, welcome back to the Elias